Hello, and welcome to the final episode of Season 1 of The Contraband, where 6 Shakespeare actors play Blades in the Dark. This show is produced by Ghostlight RPGs, a collective of theater artists keeping the lamp lit even when theaters are dark. If you like what you see, feel free to follow or subscribe. We're so glad to have you here for our final session and so excited to share this with you. I'm Ted Bushman. I'm the game master. This may be a surprise, come as a surprise to some of you. Joining me on this tale of bone trees and bribery, hunting rifles and haunted railways, fangs and finality are Jamie Hansen, Ben Isaacs, Kristin Perkins, Graham Ward, and Carson Wright. For one last time, introduce us to your characters and yourselves. Jamie.
Hello, I am Jamie Hansen. Pronouns are he, him, and I am playing the little prince, Varric Lomond, whose pronouns are also he, him. What is there to say about Varric? Rich boy, liar, in over his head at the moment.
How is here's a question for everyone. How is your character feeling about the Deathlands?
He's definitely overwhelmed being here. It's worse than he thought. The ghost fruit is really creeped him out, even though he's kept hold of it.
Yes, kept in his pocket.
Yeah, and honestly, he was planning on more reckless, like running from ghost animals, but that was pretty scary the first time it happened. So I don't know how much if he's going to try it again.
Yes, how much is committing to that particular bit?
Yeah, he thought it was a good idea initially, but now.
I love it. That's great. Benjamin Isaacs, what's up? You're sort of floating a little bit in and out with some technical difficulties, but introduce yourself. Oh, are you muted to everyone or just to me?
Uh-oh.
I can't hear them either.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? Let's introduce the others. We may have a very short first part of our session followed by a small break. Should be totally fine if that ends up being the case.
It's okay. Hix never talks anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Such a quiet guy. Yeah. So in the meantime, let's you go ahead and keep fiddling with that, Benjamin. We'll jump to Kristin.
Hi, I'm Kristin Perkins. I use she, her pronouns. I'm playing the girl who goes by many names and is the resident lurk of the group. And she is feeling about the Deathlands. I think there's like a part of her that's always adaptable to change and looking for her new aesthetic. So I think she's a little bit into like the punky goth vibes and it's like, is this who I am? This might be Kristin projecting.
Do I just want to like have like death chic,
yeah,
like wearing dead things?
Like, you know, like this bone get up that we have on, is that just an outfit for me? Is that just my look now?
Yeah, pretty cool as a possibility. This is good consideration. Graham.
Hello, I'm Graham Ward. I play Bram Borden, who is a strong man in body and a weak man in morals and spirit, who has actually gotten his life slightly more stable now, thanks to, you know, his association with these terrible people in this group.
Yes. Yes. Wonderful.
Oh, and about the Deathlands, Bram has never had a bigger erection in his life.
Wow.
That's a deeply enthusiastic experience.
I mean, it is bone.
Yes. He's got a boner for the Bone Hills.
There we are.
All right, and then Carson, we've got. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, there's half of a few people on the screen right now as Ben is trying to fix their computer a little bit, so no worries. Yes. But I play Aldo Basran, he, him. I'm Carson, he, him, and Aldo's loving it. I think you know, there's been a little vitality shot into Aldo recently about things that are a little more spooky, and so I think think maybe there's things to learn out here a little bit. I don't think he's super excited. I think he's the only one who's been in the Deathlands before, but
I think so, yeah.
To be fair, probably not nearly as much experience even as Bryce or Leon, who seem to hunt there quite often. But
Yeah, sure.
but I think there's sort of kind of like, this is weird, this is new, and you know what?
Yeah.
It's not dealing with a bunch of people shooting at him, so that's very, very nice.
Yeah, that definitely won't happen during this session. So, um, great. Yes, thank you all for your introductions. So, maybe Carson, tell me what you think of this. Maybe we do our content warning, we do our intro video, and then we go back to a brief pause before we jump back in, or should we save the video? What think you?
I think that's great. Let's do it. We'll
Great.
run it,
Let's
and
do
then we'll be back shortly.
Thank you so much for your patience with us. I figured, I mean, I orchestrated this glitch, everyone, just to have a sort of mirroring with our first session, which also had some wild technical difficulties. We will not be waiting nearly that long, but I just wanted to narratively sort of bring it back together.
Ted, lean left or right, let him see it.
This is me? Yeah. Hey, what's up? The Brady Bunch, the lazy bunch.
Now go to the right and you're in Ben's box.
Whoa.
Yeah, Graham, go visit Ted's box. Other way.
Yeah.
That's so
Very
dumb.
exciting.
I'm sorry how dumb that is. All right,
That's
it'll likely be a
wonderful.
short break, but yeah, let's
Stop miming it.
All right. So here's our content warning then. Content warning. Let me lean to the side. The Contraband is a crime drama set in a dark and unpleasant city. Episodes will almost certainly contain strong language and violence, and may occasionally also include sex, encounters with the gruesome undead, and a whole list of other things. This is my first episode not listing a bunch of other random ones, but that's it. So step through the portal and descend with us into the Contraband. Thank you for your patience, and welcome back to the Contraband. So, for our crew, you step out from among the last trees of the Bone Hills and find yourself just outside the lightning dome of the Hawksend depot. The buzz of the lightning wall, which has been gone for several days, fills your ears and vibrates through your bones once again. Is it comforting, sickening? How does it feel for your characters to feel the influence of this technology once again?
A relief. It's like stepping back into air conditioning. It's like, oh, okay.
But also realizing that like the air conditioning makes that horrible like electronic buzz that you've been without for a few minutes, and you're like, oh, I was dealing with that for years.
Yeah.
The return of the white noise, but realizing what that noise actually is. Yes, I love it. The electric dome that stands before you is quite advanced. The sparkcraft involved is more complex than even what the city's walls are made out of, implying that this was probably built much more recently and with more advanced access to technology. The lightning barrier is thick and crackling and bright white. It burns your eyes. It's brighter than the lightning walls that surround the city. In the sky and in the deathlands that surround you, the dark gray plains, there are ghosts, scores of them. Most of them are, at least 100 meters away from you. They float around the dome like jellyfish in open water, seeming dormant until they flutter to life. Some of them seem drawn towards the lightning as moths to flame. They fly close, almost touching it, and then swerve away into the darkness as if, daring each other. Through the electric blur, you can see the vague shapes of Hawksend Depot. There are a couple buildings in the rough soil of the Deathlands inside. Whatever they're working on here, they must have a reason for it to be so remote. Now, if you're in the audience, you might say, wait a minute, weren't we about to fight a giant boar at the end of last session? That's true. Now we're going to learn how you got here. So when the last we saw you, you were about to battle this enormous sort of boar-like undead creature made of bone and ghost energy and ragged scraps of grazed fabric flesh. We've had some comparisons in the group to the great boar from Mononoke in terms of size and power. So I talked a little bit with you in the crew, and I want to get a general sense of the strategy of your plans with the carrion boar. So each of you can sort of declare what you're trying to do, and then we'll have each character roll 2 action rolls, and we'll, at the end of that, once everyone is rolled, I'll give a sort of conclusion as to how it all went down in the process, essentially. Does anyone want to lead with their intentions in the fight with the boar? So the big question is, how do you want to leverage this combat with this boar into a successful raid on the depot?
So Bram had some success last time with charging in with the volley gun, and so I think what I might try is to charge in, but then kind of feint to the left or whatever.
Sure.
And give it a little bit of something to chase, so that kind of line it up so that they can strike at it. And then I'll have its attention at that point.
Great.
I'm not sure Bram would communicate this. Yeah, I'd probably. Yeah. I'm gonna go to the left down there. And you hear him like 6 times cocking his volley gun.
Yes. Blows into this like 6-barreled enormous thing. Wonderful. That's great. All right, so that means one of your roles will probably be a hunt, trying to try making the shot against it. What other plans are people expressing with their goals with the boar here?
I mean, would we like to use it to somehow get to the wall, to the edge of the depot?
Yeah, if you could lead it that way, you could potentially use it as a distraction to lure out the people inside the depot. Or if you're really desperate, you could just lead it into a desperate charge against the wall and try to break open the dome by using this creature as a battering ram, which would obviously cause an enormous amount of chaos inside the walls of the thing.
We have the corpse wagons, right?
They're some distance behind you.
The nobles have the corpse wagon.
Right.
We have not yet taken possession of one of them. But
yes.
Yeah.
But Lord Vorian is with you and has I don't think they're locked. Like, I think we filled this clock where they trust you, so you could very easily commandeer one or both of them.
Well, and especially if we somehow drive the boar to the dome,
We gotta chase it.
then there would be a good reason for Vorian to follow us in his ride.
Because
so we don't have to just like leave him here.
Yes.
I don't think these plans are mutually exclusive. I could be on the meat wagon and driving this way. Someone's at the wheel. I'm facing backward and shooting.
Absolutely. I think that's exactly what Aldo's going to suggest as well, is he'll drive it or he'll ride, either one, but we could maybe get it to follow.
It's great, because my plan was going to be to throw, what is Vorian's,
Aid.
Francis? Yeah, I was going to throw Francis to the to the wolves and try to convince him to act as bait. So if Bram's going to be bait, that's cool.
I mean, we might need more than one piece of bait.
Yes,
okay. If we have a failed roll, I'm going to try to convince Francis to lean out the window. And
never say never.
Perfect.
I think the girl who is quite fast and nimble and acrobatic, should she need to be, is going to sort of work on navigating the boar successfully. Maybe, if the boar in its rage goes to sort of turn one direction, she can slide under its belly and like use her shotguns to try and get it to kind of go in the direction that we're looking for. And she's sort of running alongside as the boar is chasing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very cool.
Nipping at the heels with little shotguns.
Yeah. Love it. Very cool.
Nothing like a sheepdog packing heat.
That's great. I love it.
I'm thinking I would just be on the back of the wagon covering the girl. I guess she seems like the one. I'd just be up there with Bram, and we'd be like, hillbillies, like on the back of the wagon, like blasting some sort of big old critter that we made mad, and whooping and hollering and screaming the whole time. It sounds fun.
Yeah, amazing. So in terms of ideal outcome here, what I've sort of imagined as possibilities, there's the using the boar, basically making the boar enough of a threat or enough of a problem that whoever's guarding the dome feels like they need to come out and make a move against it preemptively. In which case you could try and essentially distract them with it and try to have them not notice you at all, and then try and sneak in whatever way they left. Sort of as they're leaving, you run in or whatever. You could also do the thing where you where you come out and they know you're there and you try to convince them to let you in, though this is like a private research base. They might not be super amenable to help. I mean, depend on how well you could convince these people. You totally attempt to do that though, too.
With Varric Lomond at our side?
My father once asked to be allowed in.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or the third one is like full on assault, where you get the boar to like break down one of the metal struts that holds up the through which the dome is channeled, and then just like run in the chaos that is caused by it. So
we might have to see how the boar responds before we decide how to use it.
Yeah, can we roll?
Absolutely.
It sounds like the boar approach, we both stated something. Can we all just...
Yes. Yeah, everyone make a roll that you think is appropriate to the action you do. So I think, Bram, that sounds like a hunt probably. For Hix, also something...
I would actually like to roll command, because my intention is not to... harm the beast or track the beast, but rather to keep its attention away from the girl, and I guess commanding it to, so it doesn't like get up on us, because I mean, how fast is this wagon really?
Yes, that's a good point.
As fast as I can make it.
All right, you roll and tinker, Aldo, to get the cart going. Awesome.
Yeah.
It's rolling finesse.
Okay, cool. We'll do it. Graham, were you about to say something?
I can narrate it once. I think it's better for the other rolls to resolve, or at least.
Sure, that's great.
Carson.
Let's resolve mine first.
All right, 2 ones. All right. Let's see the large swath of how the rolls go, as this is sort of a more generalized experience.
Sure.
I want to see the general feeling. And what's Varric's role here? What's his attack?
So, I was going to try to attune to like use some of the psychic energy to draw it towards us.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Had some ones happen.
That is
3, okay.
It's a 3, so it's
All right.
not quite a 1, but
Very exciting. All right, how did the girls go? All right, 2. Oh no.
I like this thing where we like hold up the dice, but I actually did okay. That's
Okay, good. 5 and a 1. That's pretty
All right.
good. And how did Bram do?
5.
Okay. All right. So no full successes to be seen anywhere. All sort of partial or complete or failures. So I think probably the first assault on this thing ends in this absolute chaos. You're trying to get this Deathlands carriage moving, but you like hear the engine sputtering and black smoke, not the good kind of black smoke, just like pouring out through the windows. Like Aldo's just like coughing inside the cabin. Lord Vorian is stomps back and says, what's going on here? Meanwhile, at the front, you've got Bram and Francis, who agreed courageously to join the group. He's just like standing there absolutely shaking. And the beast steps out of the cabin, races towards you, and I think like boom, this blast goes off at it. It's struck out of the way, sort of clearly frightened of the volley gun. It reaches out, its tusks gore Francis instantly and throw him in 2 pieces against the wall, against the trees. He has barely a moment to cry out before he is just obliterated. And Vorian cries out for him in the moment and like, Francis, and turns back like as he's been trying to help Aldo with this.
He remembered his name.
Yes, he remembered it. Yes. Vorian, this old hunter. He probably like as the whole group is sort of in shock here. Let's throw out a couple of harms as well, which you can choose to resist. I think level 1 harm of terror, probably for who feels like it would be appropriate. Who wants to take the hit? All right, Varric can take it.
I'll take it.
Can take it.
I mean,
and
I'll
you can
resist it.
Yeah, you can totally resist. Yeah.
Yeah, let's resist.
Okay.
Rolled a 4, so I'll take 2 stress.
Great. That's pretty good.
Terror would be a resolve roll for resisting, or is resisting the
Yeah, I think it would be. Yeah, it's the appropriate form of the appropriate attribute. So yeah. Gotta go.
That's double 6s.
Oh my gosh, amazing!
Wow, so you heal stress, right?
Yes.
Isn't that what happens when you double 6 or resist?
I actually did. I
Did I just make that up?
I hope not.
I
Yeah,
think I remember that from the book.
Honestly, it seems appropriate. Yeah, all right. Everyone pull out their copy of Gone
sold
Harper's
in
Blades in the Dark. Sold in stores everywhere.
That's,
This is amazing. Look at this. Kristin and I are like, yeah.
So the
This show is
PDF
not
has to say-
sponsored by it. It's not an official Blades in the Dark.
Yeah, not official. Yeah, not yet. Yeah, all right. So Varric, what is narratively your double 6? Like, we'll see what it means mechanically, but what does it mean narratively?
You clear 1 stress.
You clear stress.
1.
That's sick.
all right. So I think it's a moment of like everything starts to go wrong. He panics and sort of tries to get back into the carriage and freak out, and kind of a moment of calm washes over him as he's realizes like, okay, well, if I don't do anything, we all go the way that Francis just did. And so he kind of slaps himself in the face a couple of times and then climbs back out to join everyone again, ready to step back into the fight.
Amazing. Yeah, I'd say Vorian probably rushes in to help Aldo, and the carriage starts moving very slowly. So you all can sort of run and get onto either alongside the carriage, or like it is starting to move, but the boar is following very quickly behind, and actually probably strikes the carriage once, and you all feel this lurch as it rattles back onto the ground, and you guys are just like, but the chase has begun. So let's see how everyone's next roll goes. So everyone choose your next action that you're going to be doing in relation to this.
Didn't
What are you
think that
thinking,
far.
Bram? I mean, it could just be the continuing, like, I'm going to
Yeah.
just keep peppering this
So
thing, try to get to follow us.
My problem is that my volley gun takes time to reload. So
Yes.
I'm going to actually toss it into the window, maybe to Hix,
Uh-huh.
and pull out a pistol.
Yeah, the classic, like, 1.5 foot long Bram Borden pistol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight out
Awesome.
of the mask, that big revolver from the mask.
Yes.
And I don't know that it matters much, but I want to make this more of a skirmish. Like I'm trying to bring it along, like shift its
Yeah.
position
You know,
as
I
it's
can-
chasing us.
If you
Yeah.
like, I can roll hunt really quick to test
Set
my
you up.
prowess in reloading and reload your volley gun super fast.
I would be all
Cool.
about that.
I love that.
I'll
Super
roll
that.
it. 5.
Awesome. Yeah. So you quickly, you're pulling through this stuff, and there's a moment where Lord Vorian catches you in the process of doing this, and he's like, "That's extremely impressive," and you just like don't even care. You're just like, "I gotta freaking do this thing."
And then he sees that on the butt of the gun it says "eel fucker."
Where it's like, oh. So the gun comes out back out the window again to the like running Bram, who catches it again.
Okay, another 5.
All right. Yes, amazing. All right, let's get some more rolls from people.
Okay.
So those can count as both rolls for Hix and Bram. You can do another one if you want, Ben, but your call. Well, how's Aldo? What's Varric? What's your
I'm
girl?
tinkering again this time. Like I'm under the hood underneath it, like
Yeah.
like just like
Like being dragged by it. Like, aren't we moving?
Yeah, you are moving. Yeah, currently moving.
I'm trying to get some speed on it. I rolled a 5.
Yes. Okay, awesome. 5. It's great. No, go ahead. Go ahead, girl. Kristin.
Oh, well, I was gonna maybe aid, but 5 is great.
Yes. Success.
5 is great. Yeah, I think we're frustrated that we haven't started moving successfully in the right direction. I think she's gonna pull out her grapple hook that she's quite adept at using and try and like kind of, but use it not to actually like latch hold of, but use it like as a very like a whip at the back of the boar to try and get like, with the hopes that both the carriage and the boar are gonna start moving us forward. Oh,
Awesome.
and I would like to grapple
Yes.
the boar to the carriage and see if the boar can help get us moving. Like
Oh my gosh.
thing to the carriage. Yeah. That's what I want to do. Because it's like bony, right? Like if I can latch onto
yeah, you
it.
can hook it onto a bone. Heck
Yeah,
yes.
like
You
a
can
dog
Putting the
absolutely-
sled.
boar before the cart.
Yeah, putting the board before the cart. Do it. Yeah, make the roll. I love it.
So would that be finesse again? Can I say?
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
I think that
yeah.
makes the most sense.
Yeah, sort of short range, trying to do something specifically dexterous.
5.
I love it.
5. Okay, great. And Jamie, what you doing?
Okay, well, if we are hoping that the boar will drag our carriage, I am going to sort of jab Aldo where he's working and say, "Can you hand me like a smoke bomb or a big flashy explosion noise thing, please, if you have one."
Yes, of course. And I'm just gonna like throw up a big grenade from down here. Like I'm a little busy right now.
Yes.
So it's
busy.
like he
Take a
asks for a
grenade.
smoke bomb and you give him like a grenade.
I don't have anything else. It
I mean,
works.
it's like, here, try this. So like Varric's expecting no smoke.
works.
Right? I love it.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here, Varric?
I'm going to run behind the boar and chuck the grenade behind it in the hopes that the loud noise behind it is going to scare it into running forward towards the depot.
Make the roll. I love it. This is madness.
Now, what does it have to be?
Does someone need to have aided you, hypothetically?
Could I make a case for this being a command?
Uh,
Run!
oh. Go real good. I mean, you know what? Yeah, sure. This seems like a situation where we can have some leeway about these things.
Then I will
You pushing yourself? What are you doing? No, you're not.
push my. Yeah.
Or does someone want to aid him? I don't know.
I'll push myself.
I mean, I can aid you.
Or is there? We haven't done a devil's bargain in a while as well.
Ooh,
Yeah, give him a devil's bargain.
Yeah.
Devil's
Jamie's
bargain.
favorite.
Yeah.
He doesn't need help from anyone but the devil.
Yes. Let's see. I mean, like a boring devil's bargain. I mean, anyone can come up with suggestions. One possible devil's bargain would be that the explosion is audible from Hawksend Depot, and so there'll be like any clocks that involve their awareness of your presence will be slightly increased. You could also. I'm trying to think of another.
You could
good-
get caught in the explosion and take some harm.
Yeah, sort of
Or
which
the
also is
cart
kind of
could.
yeah.
Or the
The cart.
cart.
Oh, the cart could be damaged.
Or the
in the
boar.
process.
Maybe like you blow one of its legs off or something insane.
Yes. Yeah. Any of
But,
those
I mean,
appeal
your
to you?
intention is to make it run. So
Yeah.
that's not bad.
Yes.
I'll take the clocks.
Okay. Great.
I actually,
Sure.
Ben, if you don't mind, I'll take that assist as well.
I'll help you out. Yeah, I mean,
Alright.
I'm like loading Bram's gun, and then I see you run out with a live grenade, and I'm like, gonna give you some backup. And
You're like, by the way, that's a live grenade.
What?
A smoke bomb.
You hit him with the pin out.
Okay,
Yes.
it's a good thing I checked those because the first one was a 1, the other 2 are 5s. So
Nice.
Okay,
Nice.
nice, fantastic. Okay, so all of these are qualified successes. So like some complication involved in each of them. So the grenade goes off, and the creature is infuriated and terrified just in the moment when a hook grabs onto one of its bony ribs and connects it to. I assume the girl is on top of the cart. Connects it to the thing just in time for the beast to hurtle forward and the entire cart to be jerked vroom, after it. It then flips. Let's put several of these 5s to work. The cart flips onto its side and is now being dragged through the woods.
God.
On its
I love
side.
it. I love it.
All those
So-
underneath, like, oh no.
So let's
Suddenly
say,
you're on the side,
of
Aldo.
it now.
I am.
yeah, like in the open air. So let's say Aldo and Hix. Who else is in the cart? Aldo and Hix and the girl. I think.
Oh,
we're
no,
all
I'm out of the
physically-
car.
Yeah, on the
Oh, okay.
top.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm with Varric.
Okay, so Aldo and the girl each take a level 1 harm, I'd say, which would be.
Can I argue that my
can
with
resist.
reflexes or
Oh, yes.
They have
this is the perfect moment
reflexes,
for that,
right?
Yes. So the girl's special ability is that she always has the lightning reflexes, always connect first. So what does she do?
so it's almost like a slow motion in a movie. Like as it's tilting, she like does 2 steps and now she's on top again, which is now
Oh
the
my
side
God.
of it.
it's like a
Yeah.
Legolas,
man.
just like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
I
gonna
love
take a stab and say Bram's on the side that is now up instead of the side that's now down.
it. Sure. Yeah.
Thanks.
Let's be fine with that. So does that mean that only Aldo is taking harm from this?
No, I'm resisting it with a 6.
Okay, great. So
Ooh.
nothing happens. You are just
I'm like,
fine.
"Ah!"
So
I mean, just fine.
yeah,
Let's
it's
see how
just fine.
Borden does, but I don't
Yes.
know. No one's really worried about him.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
so
please.
no one is currently inside the car, right? So Vorian was in there helping Aldo with the engine stuff, so we don't see exactly what's happening with him, if anything. You hear a large thunk as something falls inside, likely a human. So you are currently the cart is just being along the floor of this forest. It rattles, pinballing against these trees. But you guys are making your approach. You're heading in the direction towards the depot. Aldo sitting on the side of it, sort of hanging on sideways, trying to get this thing working. The classic, like, you have a wrench for no reason and are smacking the sides of all this
Yeah,
stuff.
even though the cart has fallen over.
Yeah, you're still like, no, I'm gonna make this work.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta get it right home.
Wait,
you
so
can-
are
yes.
Hix and I just running like
I
behind?
guess,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
what I anticipate.
Yes. Yep, you guys are running with the thing, heading straight towards the thing. So, let's give everyone one more action window just because it feels like that's possible. So, basically, the things you could attempt to do, you could try to get the cart more upright. You could try to separate from the boar, which could allow you to potentially sneak in undetected if the boar is doing its own thing. You could also try and direct the boar onto course to strike the wall and disable it, or to move to the side so you can get in a little bit more sneakily. Your call.
I say we ram
I mean,
it.
Yeah, I feel like we'd have to ram it.
I
mean,
think
it'd be cool if we could-
I think I strapped this bony boy up with a bunch of explosive and run him into the wall. Is that a bad idea?
Yes. No, that's a cool idea.
That's the
Excellent
idea.
idea.
We talked about this.
All right. So maybe we could have a Hix. I mean, Hix and Aldo could do this together, and maybe I don't know. Maybe involve Hix ending up riding the boar like Muad'Dib into the shield.
Yes. Climb up on top of the thing and ride it a while. Yeah.
Balloon.
I mean, I don't have any finesse, so I wasn't even gonna attempt that because it seems
Sure.
a little
It's
little
pretty
beyond
finesse.
what I could
Pretty
do.
finesse-like.
So I
The
think
girl might be a better candidate, but
I've
the
got
girl is
lots
the
of
right
finesse.
candidate to ride it. Yeah.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah, you should ride it.
I mean, if
Can
if
we
it needs to
at
be
least toss a
rode,
rope to the people on foot?
we
yes,
just like running.
yeah, I think that's happened. So like, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, you're definitely like able to keep in pace with it,
Girl,
though
like,
it is speeding up.
Jet
Varric's
skiing behind it, like
like, yeah,
Oh no.
yeah. All right. So what are your guys' roles? What are these looking like?
Yeah, I think finesse would be the role I would need to make if I wanted to throw my other bandolier on it.
Yeah. Yes. I think that totally makes sense.
I will.
How-
I mean, I can aid in this. I don't know. So are you just? What are you thinking? You're just going to throw the bandolier just onto it? So it's like made of bones. Is there like a way to tuck things into its situation?
I-
Yeah, you
I'm
certainly
more
could.
Touching it.
Yeah.
I mean, I
kinda
guess I
want
would
it touched.
I would want to time it to explode upon entry.
Mm.
Whether or not it kills it, that's not my intention. My intention
Yeah.
is big problem for them.
Could the
Yeah.
lightning wall somehow charge the explosives to detonate? Could you?
Yeah, would I know
Yeah.
this?
Is that something you can? I mean, you've studied lightning, right?
That is true. That is true.
Yes.
You like read that book or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm into
Um,
the idea of you rigging this. Yes.
Okay. So let's rig it up to explode upon contact with the wall. Hopefully,
Okay.
it will run straight into the wall.
Great.
Does
Right,
someone want
I'll-
to go for its eyes? I could try, but I don't have hunt. I don't know if that would be a hunt.
I mean, I could go for its eyes if you're trying to. Are you trying to climb up on top and like direct the thing?
I think so, and also unhook us at the last minute so that we're not in the blast radius.
Uh-huh. All right, cool.
So
Let me kind of steer it by like shooting on the different sides of it. And maybe
Yeah.
for this, I'll use my pistol to kind of
Sure.
just keep it going in the right direction, corral it a little bit.
Yeah, I like that. It's
I
great.
assume Tinker would be a good role for
Yep. I love
rigging
that.
it. Okay.
I think that's great. Yeah, I think that's the
I
perfect role.
rolled it. And that's good.
And
Great.
then
Good.
the girl you're gonna unhook it. You said when we get
yeah.
there.
So
Okay, so-
I'll leap atop it, and at the very last minute take the grappling hook and unhook us, and then leap back.
So badass.
Love this.
This will work.
Yeah, it's gonna be just
Go
He
Going
says,
alright.
hopefully.
in that case, can I study the lightning wall to like tell Bram where to direct it? Like look for the what looks like the weakest point
Yes.
Ah.
or an
Yeah.
ideal
Yep.
bit to hit.
That's great. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll see
All
it.
right.
Yeah. All right. I'm
All
gonna
right.
make my
Let's
hunt.
make our rolls. Yeah. Just call out your numbers as you get them.
5.
6.
5.
Okay. And Benjamin, did you do your roll?
I
What was your
I'm-
roll? Did you have an action?
No,
You
I
shooting
didn't
the eyes out?
really have anything in mind. I was going to. Well, I was going to help Aldo out, but
Great.
I got 6, baby.
Aldo doesn't. Aldo doesn't. You know.
Okay. Great.
That's what he
So-
keeps telling you.
All right. So in this process, all of these are generally effective. I mean, you're like absolutely in this chaos mode. You guys are like riding through this thing. There's a point where one of the doors of the carriage, like you hear this huge and feel this as one of the doors of it flies off and is left behind you. So this thing is going to be an imperfect vessel for the return home trip. But it's still going. Lord Vorian at one point, with his head bleeding, sort of emerges out of the out of the inside of the carriage and is sort of unable to speak or fully express himself, but is just watching all of you. You're able to leap on top of it. The girl runs, maybe Legolas style, up the rope. You know how this is. BS narrative crap, or maybe just like actually climbs up this thing, and get the bandolier gets rigged, brought up onto this thing, and Varric, as you're looking, maybe you have like a little pair of opera glasses.
Left face.
Yeah, you're able to see like there are several sort of limbs of metal that are the conductors for the wall, and so you sort of get led towards the conductor itself to try and knock it down. In the moment, time freezes and you all emerge from the woods just in time, and you start to see the actual have this moment that we're flashed back from. So I thought you would just be walking there, but no, you're riding on the back of the giant boar, and your carriage is just rattling on the ground. The boar strikes. Girl, you're able to make the leap back off of it. So who got the 6s and who got 5s?
6.
5, 5, 4. Okay, great. So all those of you who did not have the 6, so everyone but Aldo takes level 1 harm as you guys are striking it, and lightning from the wall comes in, and you all just get level 1 harm. Shocked. You can choose to take a to resist or to just take it. Your call.
So if I already have a level 1 harm of shock, does that make level 2?
Super
that
shock.
would probably make a single
Toasty,
level.
crispy?
Yeah, crispy.
Gonna need some
that'd be
more ointment.
electrified. Yeah, harm level 2 electrified. Yeah, so that would then give you a reduced die on, I think, things that required precision. Probably that would be my call. So
Alright,
you could
I'll
still
take it.
skirmish, but hunt would be reduced. So, and yeah, if you can, go ahead.
That would be a prowess resistance.
Yes, prowess resistance. Yeah, you can resist.
Do that. Yes.
Yeah, make the resist.
I'll resist too.
All right.
4.
Okay, so 2 stress.
5.
5, so 1 stress. Nice. It's not too bad. This leg of the sort of arches that lead up to this dome, one of them just completely bends at first under the pressure of this boar running into it. As the explosives go off, it then splits entirely in half, and just this wave of electricity washes over you. The rope gets unhooked at the correct moment, so the cart spins off to the side and strikes against another one of the rails. So the boar is now essentially 30 feet to your right, heading towards one of the 2 buildings, and you see a bunch of people, employees of the ministry, who are just completely out of nowhere, seeing this huge Deathlands thing emerge out of the wall. You spin, and sort of the carriage smokes with electricity. This is basically one portion of the wall has descended, so of the dome is descended. The rest of it is still intact, but there's this break in it. You now can see, even as you're watching, the wall is attempting to reform itself. And so you have to get out of this carriage quickly, or else you're going to be essentially caught in the middle of this wall. Anything particularly you do as you emerge? We don't need rolls to get out of it, but
I'm going to one of the spider's equipment items is blueprints. I'm going to have blueprints for this place.
Great.
If that's all right with you, Ted, just so that I can know which building we are headed towards, because we need to have discussed it and been like, this is the one that we
absolutely
has the info.
Yeah. So there are 3 buildings in the depot. All of them are. The first thing you actually see is neither of those, but the rail. There is a tall rail and a train station, this train depot essentially. It's built on elevated rails, about 50, 60 feet high. And there's no train actively there, but this is sort of a dead end of the train which stretches back, and you can see in the far distance it connects with the main rail that leads back to Doskvol. So this is sort of an offshoot that only ministry officials will use. The buildings inside the depot itself, there are 3. One of them is a 1-story building that appears to be a living quarters for those who stay for more time than just just daytimes or working shifts at the depot. You see from the blueprints that you were able to obtain, these were sort of government approval blueprints that you got from Wilkes Stanbury, actually. So they look to be somewhat incomplete because they were basically projections of what the thing would be built to look like. You see that some adjustments have clearly been made. But generally, this was going to be like a well-appointed living quarter, actually quite fancy. So the people who were working out here were not just common laborers. They were experts, people who expected to be paid and treated well. You see the second building is an electric tower. It is the central force that all the dome connects to. You see there are metal cages surrounding it and other places that have tubed up to it. These are likely containers holding tanks of lightning oil, but which are protected with these metal cases to avoid them from being, exploded or destroyed or whatever, easily removed. The third building, and this is likely your destination, is a 2-story research station. It's made of brick and glass. It has a sort of large arched windows. It's quite beautiful to some degree. There are some vehicles nearby it. And yeah, there's a ramp that leads up. The entrance is not on the first floor, but on the second floor. So these large stairs that lead up to the second floor. You see there's clear chaos happening in the moment. I'm going to start a clock here. The depot is mobilized. This is an 8-part clock. And it is currently, given some of the failures earlier and the nature of your arrival, I'm going to say 5 out of 8. So yeah, stuff is happening. You see people running out of the research station and out of the living quarters. You actually see one of the Sparkcraft soldiers who you fought in Night Market has emerged and is like striking the boar as they're attempting to fight it. It is like striking against the living quarters at the moment. So yeah, what are you guys doing?
Can we prowl? Can the girl lead us in a group action to prowl pretty
Yes. And I'm also wondering if we could flash back, because I'm a costume designer, and if I could know like what the uniform is and that we are wearing it in the middle of the chaos and then sort of sneaking in.
Yes, I love it. Great. Okay. So we'll your choice here. Either we do it a 1 stress flashback and you have to do a tinker roll to create the uniforms effectively, or we do a 2 stress flashback and you don't have to pay anything, or you don't have to do a roll. So 2 stress means no chance of failure. 1 stress means you could have like lower quality uniforms that wouldn't pass.
Yeah, I need it to be a 1 stress.
Okay. Great. Yeah, so you can make your tinker roll, and if someone wants, they can aid you.
Yeah, right. I'll aid by getting information about what they look like.
Yeah.
Which makes perfect sense.
I have been waiting so long to have a successful costume moment, so I will.
Yes, it's perfect.
So we need to clarify that all of these hijinks from the last 20 minutes, we were wearing flawless uniform.
Yes.
Well, they're under our animal skins, right?
Yes.
We just all take off the coat.
Kristin.
Yeah.
That
take
is
off our
a
meat
set.
Yes.
Yay.
So the Ministry of Preservation has gray uniforms with caps. They've got a stripe that shows some stripes that indicate rank and colors that indicate the type of work that you're doing. Rail jacks are a sort of electric ghost blue. There's other, and then of course the symbol of the ministry as well, and maybe names printed at some place, on the pocket or something to indicate who you are. So yeah, you all look like ministry workers. And we'll let you decide in the moment what roles you have been assigned. You can choose that as part of the power of the flashback. Whenever you wanted to declare what you are, that's great. So yeah, you all suddenly you're climbing out of this steaming carriage. There's half broken, getting out of these Deathlands things into these uniforms, striding towards the thing. So let's make a prowl roll with increased effect because of your uniforms. We can do a group prowl roll. Also, just saying, if you do a group prowl roll with the girl leading it, she'll take a stress for every failure. You might want to have someone else lead it if she is worried about stress at the moment.
I'll lead it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes a difference, but
no, yeah.
Like my skill doesn't matter, right? It's just the stress is on me.
Yes, I think the stress. I'm trying to figure out remember where success comes from.
Okay.
Do you have a better prowl, don't you, Varric?
I do. Yeah, I think it's We take the highest roll that anybody
yes.
in the group gets, and then whoever's leading it takes stress for the failures.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter if you're good at it.
Okay. I was just willing to take the stress, but
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
matter.
great. We'll do that. Do that, Bram. Then I think that's
So Bram
great.
comes out, struts out in his uniform with his volley gun now loaded again, and he says, "Stay close." Move forward.
Great, I failed.
Amazing.
Sorry, stressing you out. I'm like staying so close, I like step on your foot. Or something. Like, annoying.
You bastard.
I got a 5.
5.
Okay. So only
Six
one
for me.
failure. Yeah, one
Hix.
failure from Hix. Yeah, that's it.
Sorry, Dad.
That's great. So as it happens, Hix, you're actually hurrying ahead of the group. You're sort of striding very quickly across the lawn, and not lawn, the parched deathlands. But there are several ministry people wearing not uniforms, but like very nice white shirts and suspenders. They have some Sparkcraft gear attached to their backs, and they're all wearing masks, which are designed for dealing with the hazards of the Deathlands. They step out, and a couple of them say, "You maintenance, follow us, come with us," to Hix. They hurry on without following through on whether you're following them immediately.
I'm gonna follow him.
Okay. Amazing. So you guys can head up the ramp. The rest of you can head up the ramp into the building, and Hix is going with the these Sparkcraft carrying people who are they're running not towards the beast, but back towards the broken pylon of the dome.
So they're not repair people.
You could make a study roll to see if you can identify them.
I will, because I'm
Yeah.
a professor. Well, I used to be a school
Yeah.
teacher. Close
Yes, you know.
enough. 5.
Great. You identified these are likely a semi-legendary profession of. These are what are they called? Well, this is good that I've remembered what they're called.
They're very legendary, apparently.
They're very so legendary that I don't know what they're
legendary.
called. They're Sparkwrights. Wright with a W.
Yeah.
So Sparkwrights are the engineers who originally designed the lightning wall. They're sort of elite electrical engineers with lots of expertise, and these would be not necessarily. It's possible that they could be employed by the ministry, but we're not trained by the ministry. These guys have come from higher education and elite groups to work.
They're
for
the
ministry.
NASA engineers or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. They're the big
Cool.
deal in this world. So let's first follow the group as you all head inside. There is chaos inside the second floor of the research station. It's an open floor plan, and you see these arched windows. It's actually quite a beautiful building. It's very industrial chic with all these like black girders, but also with this brick sort of skeleton of it all. You can see through the windows, the Deathlands through the lightning. The place is full of blue light, as if you'd come by moonlight. There are drafting tables and open areas with mats on the floor that all appear to be in a state of active use. You see machinery, like sort of bits of machinery that's been left here, and on the drafting tables are tons of papers. It's clear that, we'll put this as part of Bram's study roll, there are active tests going on of the new lightning weaponry that's being tested. Looks like there's like dummies even that this stuff is being tested on to see how some of this materials work. None of the, there's not a lot of actual tools here. You get the sense that they're either like locking them up or carrying them with them, but this is definitely the residue of an active experimenting space. The drafting tables actually are locked, and there are a few offices at the far end of the hall. You also see 3 stairways leading downstairs from this room. You can see that there are several more Sparkwrights who are running around. None of them seem particularly aware of you, but they are sort of actively in their spaces. And one of them says to the other, "Do we telegraph a state of emergency?" And someone says, "They've certainly already done it." And they're all just running around, chickens with their heads cut off. So, and with all this time, with this time that's passed, we're just going to move the depot mobilized up to a 6 out of 8.
Ooh.
So,
I'll say, let me know if someone needs to get roughed up. But I'll kind
to the Sparkwrights.
No, to the group.
Okay, great. Cool.
But I'm kind of now that we've done prowling for the moment, I'm going to take a back seat and just sort of be there if you need some physical muscle.
Great, awesome. So there are more floors to explore inside the research station. You could go down the stairs and see what's going on. Well, there's one floor, maybe a basement, who knows? But you can do. We can have. There are small search clocks for each floor. So there's a 4-part search clock if you want to try and search this upper floor. Obviously, there are people actively here who would be watching you search it, which may be suspicious. But yeah, your choices as to how you want to engage with the building here. Meanwhile, Hix, what are you doing? So these guys are heading toward these spark Wrights are headed towards the pylon here, where you see a bunch of other maintenance workers attempting to sort of lift this back up and potentially get the pylon back into working order. You can see some of the spark Wrights talking about, careful with that. Look, we need to reconnect these wires here, and they're like working. Like this guy pulls out this electroplasmic welder, which is like arcs to life. He's got this mask over his face. The Boar is being fought and is actually sort of starting to be subdued by some of these people over here. You see that it is a mess after the explosions that rocked it. I mean, it is sort of barely. It's barely alive, but it squashes a couple ministry maintenance workers in a single step of its foot. So things are not great still. But yeah, anything that Hix is doing particularly?
How's any sign of Vorian? How's our carriage doing?
Yeah, so the carriage is back over there. Basically, however you want to have, like, if you want to have told Varian to.
I shot him with blackout and left him in there.
Okay, so yeah, he is asleep inside the carriage.
We'll pick him up.
And the carriage is on its. So the carriage is on its side, so maybe not the best way for us to get out of here.
Yeah, we'll pick him up. I guess what I would have conveyed to the group was, we'll just tell him that this got out of control and that he blacked out, and we'll be fine.
Great.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Well, I think I want to survey just in the chaos. I want to sort of follow, and I want to be surveying the rail line and attempt to glean when the next ride out of here is leaving.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, make that survey roll. That's great. Good impulse.
Can I take a devil's bargain?
Yes, absolutely. So I think it could be something to do with these spark Wrights that one of them could.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. One of them actually asks you to do a job.
Yeah, is that no matter what happens with it, you're going to be one of these spark Wrights is going to become attached to you as feeling like you are an essential part of getting out of this alive.
Oh, great. I can handle that.
Okay, great.
Great. I rolled a 5.
Okay, great. So in terms of the survey roll, you're looking and trying to gauge and trying to look in the distance. It's hard through the remaining parts of the lightning dome to figure out exactly what's going on. But then a hand grabs yours, not aggressively, but just grabs you by the bicep and says, "Listen, my name's Dylan. I understand you're likely feeling concerned, but we need your help. That you see up there, yes, the alarm has been sent out, I've been told. There should be a train here within a few minutes. There are protocols for the station being compromised, though. So we'll see what exactly it becomes. Currently, it's a code blue, I believe. You remember that, of course."
Yeah, code blue standard. I've been holding it down with standard code blue procedure ever since the code blue started.
Amazing. And he says, "Get on in there. Everyone's too afraid. They don't know what they're doing." So he sort of pushes you towards the pylon.
Great. Let's go towards the pylon.
Great. You can attempt to tinker.
Wait, no. You know what I actually want to do? I want to command Dylan that I need to go get my tools. Great. Dylan, I'm going to get out. I'm coming right back.
I love it.
I need to leave now, Dylan. You can come with me if you like. It isn't because I'm afraid. It's because I am needed elsewhere.
All right, make the roll.
That's a 5.
Okay, great. What is the outcome that you want? Do you want him to follow you, or is that just to?
No, I want to lose him forever if possible. But I understand that part of the devil's bargain was that he was going to be attached to me.
Yes, he thinks you're essential.
So if he needs to come with me, then I'm inviting him along, but I'm leaving.
Yeah, he says, what was your name?
Donnie.
Listen, I'll come with you. The tools that this is not the right time to be saying this, but the tools they give you are not up to snuff. Come with me, I'll get you my own tools.
Amazing. Thank you, Donnie. Lead the way.
So I'm
Dylan's
Donnie.
a practical
You're
man.
Dylan, and I'm Donnie. My name.
Bill? Yes, of
Donnie.
course. Everyone's quite
Sorry,
confused.
I'm stressed.
So he starts moving you back up towards the research facility. Meanwhile, what are you guys doing inside?
While people are distracted, I think I want to try and slip down a floor. Can I try and do that like while people are
Absolutely. Yeah.
not looking?
I'd love to help you with that if I can. I want to.
Same.
Yeah, meaning.
I think I'm
my
going to
hope
say
is
in the
evacuate
chaos
the
of
building.
Yeah. My thought is in the chaos of this, you don't need to do a prowl because no one is paying attention to you enough. So you head down the stairs onto the first floor. This is unlike the second floor, which appears to be a testing area. The first floor is a manufacturing floor. There's machinery all over the place, a lot of narrow walkways between these things. You can see that there's enormous machinery clunking away loudly. It's tight and labyrinthine. There are orange sparks flying off a machine that moments ago was being used to cut a piece of steel into a specific shape. You also see on a far end, there's an obscure doorway that is like hanging slightly open, which looks like it's normally locked pretty heavily. There are some engineers running at the far end of the hall here, people in like welding masks, and they are also not super much paying attention to you. But if you wanted to get anywhere and navigate around in here, they would probably notice you.
Well, I would like to go to the obscure doorway.
Sure. Yeah, you can make a prowl roll to attempt that, and Aldo and Varric could help you hypothetically.
Oh, do I get
they
an
wanted
assist?
to.
Yeah, I would love to assist by taking some attention, actually.
Okay, great.
Well, but
Sure.
I'll assist and take stress first.
Cool. Great. So you get another die.
I rolled 3 1s and 1 5.
Wow. Okay.
So thank you for the assist.
Yes. So
Thanks. 4
yeah. So
dice.
how do you go about getting attention to help her succeed?
So I want to look around and see like the most panicked looking person.
Yeah.
And stride up to them and grab them roughly by the arm and say, "Who's in charge here?"
Right. This is a man in his 30s who's doubled over, sweating profusely. He looks up at you and says, "The foreman is gone. I'm second. I'm manning the station until he returns."
And do you know what is happening outside?
There's something struck through part of the wall. We were told to go to a code yellow.
Yes, it's a code yellow. The station is compromised. Now, what do we do with important information when the station is compromised?
It's fully
Come on, man!
compromised.
And I slap him around the face.
So he, as the girl and whoever is following her is sneaking down this obscure doorway, he steps over to the side, and there's a large lever on the side that it's the set of buttons, this transmitter, and he presses a white button at the bottom of it. So it's like blue and yellow, and so it's like clearly the worst possible situation. He slams this white button, picks up a receiver, and says, "The station is compromised." You hear a voice on the other end, which is a recording of a voice which suddenly blares on speakers from all over the facility. You, Ben Hix, walking with Dylan, as you are walking up the ramp, you hear Ruthus Enjim's voice come over the radio. And you at first are like, have this, oh no, but you immediately are able to gauge this is a recording of his voice. He says, "Ladies and gentlemen, Hawksend Depot has been compromised. Prepare for a code white evacuation." And immediately, like, you hear like a siren starts to blare. I'm filling the last 2 lines of the station becomes mobilized. And starting a new 6-part clock, which is engine shutdown. You start to hear whirs as the lightning wall around you starts to shut down. The as you're all like the repair people are looking up, the dome is descending. Like there's less and less power going to this thing. The tubes that are connected to the tower are like stopping delivering lightning oil. You fear that you may have triggered a self-destruct.
That may have backfired on me.
But meanwhile, who went with the girl down into the basement?
Is that somewhere where Bram would be useful? Like, would you have in the moment like motioned me to come with you? Probably not, right?
Well, yeah. I don't know.
I think so. I think you're just trying to find what's the most useful place on here.
Yeah.
And when you,
I think I would have maybe gestured to Aldo. No offense, Bram, but like someone who I know can sort of tinker around.
Oh, I'm like rooting through stuff. I'm like,
Okay.
I'm grabbing stuff. So if you'll signal me, I'll come. But...
Yeah. Let's assume all three of you and Varric, as this guy is freaking out, you also have a window where you could descend. Heading into the basement of this place, you see that the structure is still lots of like sheets of thick metal, but the lower level here, it looks nothing like the sort of research facility that's conventionally above you. This down here is a library. There are bookshelves. This place is full of bookshelves. There are chairs that are laid out. There are desks where research is being done. A lot of these books look very old. And girl, one of the first things you see is there are wall hangings of fabric that things have been painted on. One of them is in the center of the room hanging up, and it is a symbol of a circle that is incomplete. A sort of inky and strange circle. Yeah, and that is like one of the first things that strikes you as you enter. Do you respond?
Yeah, I'm not paying attention to any of the books, to the mission. I'm going to that piece of fabric.
Yeah.
And I think at first there's sort of like a stunned confusion that takes me out of it. But
Yeah, so she walks forward towards us into essentially the center of this room where all of these books are laid out. There is no one actively down here that you're aware of. And the place is very quiet. There's no one down here currently. So I'll give you there's a 6-part clock to search the antiquarian room if you would like to do that.
I will search.
Great, so you can study your survey.
Study.
6 for me.
Okay,
5.
Great. Awesome. And were you doing one also, Varric, or no?
Sure, yes, I will study. 5.
Okay, great. So I'm going to put, with those 5s, I'm going to put 2 ticks into a clock called the Descending Tide. You hear the power of the station starting to lower. And actually, as you are working down here in the basement, several of the lights above you flicker and then go out. You still have enough light to keep searching. As you do, you're searching through some of these books. You see that there are numerous wall hangings that are similar to the one the girl is looking at. Not all of them bear that symbol. There are lots of different symbols that, Bram, some of them you recognize from the book that you've been given by the Keltry Sisterhood. These are occult symbols of some kind, something related to the ghosts and the ghost field. So in all of these successes, you fill the clock. But the other things that you notice, many of the books, there's a mixture in the books. Some of them are occult and poetic and sort of strange historical. There's like a historical section as well, and there's also scientific books. So it seems like there's this attempt towards a synergy of some kinds. The biggest thing, though, is that the girl maybe discovers as you turn away, like whirl away from this vision for just a moment, the rug beneath you spins, and you see that it is covering a metal trapdoor.
Way.
I yank the piece of fabric down if I can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you reply. Yeah.
Like drape it around my shoulders and then go to the trap door. Is it locked?
Yes, it is. There's a
I
big
would
old
love
fat padlock on it.
to pick that lock And just a reminder that one of my special abilities means I'm not
tier
affected
does
by...
not matter.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. Yeah, you just does not matter what the luck is. You can do it. Yeah,
Right.
make that roll.
Can I do it? That's a 3.
Oh no, dang it. So you go to pick it and you see that it's possible that someone may have intentionally tried to sabotage this lock. That they may have, in departing the station, assuming it lost, may have tried to lock whatever is down here. That doesn't mean you can't attempt to open it up by a different method.
I want to tune
someone could wreck
real
it.
quick. As this is all going on and we're looking at this, I'll probably meet Bram's eye with like some of these books I'll hand him that reference our work that we've been doing. And
Heck yeah.
as this thing in the ground, I'm worried about what's in there.
Okay.
I just want to tune.
Yeah,
I just
absolutely.
want to see what's cooking, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
5.
Okay. So I've moved up for the 3 that you rolled, and for that, I'm putting the descending tide up to 5 out of 8.
No.
So
That's
it's it's moving up. But before I tell you what you attune, Hix, you and Dylan get onto the second floor where all the spark rights are working. He goes towards his desk where Dylan is grabbed by one of the other spark rights and says, "We don't have time to do the repair. It's a code white. We're getting out of here. Come on, right now." He is starting to get dragged away. He sort of turns back, but Hix, you have a window of opportunity where you can peace out away from him or do whatever you would want to do.
Well, I mean, what I really wish to accomplish is to secure a way for us to get out of here. It seems like the train is maybe the best way.
Sure. Yeah.
So
you could try to get information from them about like how quickly it'll be here or how they're planning to get out, or you could try to befriend them, or you could try to command them, or any other way to. I mean, they might know a way, or you could try to find some other way rather than talking to them about it.
Okay.
I can also give more information to Aldo about his role if you want to think about it for a second.
Yeah, do that. I'm gonna go have a little bio break. I'll BRB.
Okay. Actually, let's. We'll finish this moment here, and then we'll do our own bio break as a group. Actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just sit here and think about it then.
Great. So, Aldo, you attune, and I don't know how Bram, like, I don't know if you guys like just start like holding hands all the time now that when you attune together, like what you're like if you interact with each.
Yeah. What's wrong with that? We do it.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, freaking great. So you attune together and feel this energy, and what you feel is this descending tide is with the lightning wall descending. These ghosts that you saw hovering around are coming towards the station. There are a lot of them heading towards. They're still at some distance. You're not immediately going to get swamped, but it's happening. And the other thing you sense is there are not ghosts beneath the station, but what you do sense is the same sort of signature, the same sort of feeling you would sense from another human who is actively using Quicksilver, but like a pretty potent version of that feeling. So you sense that there are multiple individuals in this cellar who are actively using Quicksilver.
Does the trapdoor look like it could be clubbed open with the butt of my volley gun?
Yeah, absolutely. Or you could even try to just club the lock off.
Oh yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah,
with a
great.
wreck?
Make that wreck. Yeah, let's do
So I
it.
was gonna be like, Aldo, do you want to try and pick it too? And then Rob's just gonna come in.
While he's doing this, just before you bust it open, I think upon feeling that and feeling these ghosts, there's a moment of recognition and panic in all those eyes, and I'm searching for any arcane implements in this room, anything that might be constitute ghost stuff, just like looking.
Yeah.
Anyway,
absolutely.
while you do that, Bram.
Love it.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, go ahead and make your roll, Bram.
It's a 3.
Okay.
We're not getting in there.
Don't get it open.
Yeah, so you slam the thing against it. You could certainly attempt another roll against it with some other method of trying to get through if you wanted. But it is the sort of yes. But I'll add another tick towards the descending tide.
Okay. Where are we going? Are we staying here for a minute?
But I want to know what's down there.
All right, fuck it then. And
We have to find it.
Break it open.
6.
6. Okay. Boom. Yeah, like you're like hearing there's people screaming outside and shouting. There's like you hear like chaos going on, footsteps running above you. You slam this thing open and like yank this open, leap down into the dark. This is down in the cave, like the caves of the rock underneath this. It's like part cave, part metal sheets, all illuminated by these like singular light bulbs. You step down and you hear human moaning. You hear a voice, just sort of in pain, a groan, and there is an open door that must have been left open by the person who tried to mess with the lock. You see Pike Renfor, the leader of the Railjacks, chained up in a room. There are 3 tubes injected into the veins on his arms and into his neck, pouring quicksilver into him. His head is shaved. His mustache is shaved. He's just like got this thin stubble. He is more emaciated than before. And he looks up at you. His eyes are completely white with quicksilver. And he says, "How did I kill you?"
Throw my gun down, start tearing the tubes out of his arm.
Yep. And as you run in, we're going to jump for our break.
Ah! Okay. Oh.
So, yes. All right. So we'll be back just in a few minutes. We're going to take a bio break here. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. We're so excited to come back in just a second. Ah!
God.
Oh.
Welcome back to the Contraband. When last we left you, the crew was in the second basement of the Hawksend Depot, a research station far outside the limits of Doskvol. They had just found the head of a friendly faction, Pike Renfor, the leader of the Railjacks unionization group, who has been captured by the Ministry, who you remember was recently arrested on charges of violence against Ministry officials and apparently was handed over to the Ministry. He is now standing now before you, shirtless, emaciated, chained up to the walls of this cell. There are multiple cells in this basement area that you see, and multiple closed doors. And he is is being fed a drip on multiple sort of IVs of pure quicksilver being fed into him, enhancing his connection to the ghost field. So he practically vibrates with ghost energy, although with the residual effects of your attunements, you can feel it's coming off of him. And there's a real shakenness. I mean, he is having prolonged quicksilver effects, essentially. His eyes are completely white, and he just asks you, he said, "How did they kill you? How did you die?" But Bram, I believe you said, ran forward and started to yank the tubes out of him. That doesn't require any sort of rolls because he doesn't resist you. He's just dazedly sort of swinging back and says, You're the smugglers."
I'm like at the back of this, tapping my foot, basically.
Okay. No, go ahead, girl.
I'd like to frantically try and pick some locks on some of these doors.
Yeah, the doors? Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Right? There's like
multiple
cell doors.
Yeah.
Okay.
This will only be about your speed in doing it. You're going to succeed no matter what, but success will mean that you're fast enough that there's no other consequences.
6.
Okay, great. So you are able to basically run through this whole area. There are 4 other cells that contain Railjacks, who you are able to identify. 2 of them are Elias and Val Chain, the mother and grandfather of Peter Chain, who are also arrested, and 2 other agitators of the Railjack stuff. All of them are being fed the same quicksilver drip. You also, as you start to unchain them, and some of them you can just slip out of the thing. It's partially the drip that was keeping them sedated. You see that many of them have tattoos, varying tattoos, and many of them have a branded circle, an unfinished circle on the back of their necks. Very different in style than yours, girl, but yeah, but multiple sort of occult tattoos on them.
So once I get this, our friend unplugged, I'm going to throw him over my shoulder and move to one of the open doors and start removing the others.
Great. Yeah.
Are the needles with the quicksilver, do we see where could I take one of the needles that still has this potent quicksilver solution?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you could essentially snip part of it and just have enough for to inject someone quickly with it, if that's the intention. Yeah, it's connected to the ceiling, and then you're not sure where it's being pumped from. There are several pipes running along the ceiling of these caverns. A couple of the people seem awake enough, including Elias, to resist immediately coming with you. They, Pike is, you're able to easily throw him over your shoulder. He's disturbingly light, but Elias says, "No more ghosts. I won't go with you. I won't go with any more ghosts."
I'm gonna walk up to him and look him in the eye and say, "Peter, your grandson's name's Peter. He's not a ghost. He needs you. You need to come with us now."
Roll a consort on that. That's great.
Oh, it would have been great. It's a 3 and a 1.
Okay, great. Yeah, he says, Peter's dead also. Peter, a ghost. no, please. And he starts backing up. It becomes clear that if you were to try and do this by force, it could be quite easy to do so. It does look like he does have the strength to stand and could leave on his own power if you could convince him. And I'm going to move the descending tide up a tick. So we're at
While this is going on, I want to gesture back to Aldo at my pack, which I dropped when I started, collecting the captives, and say, start taking daguerreotypes. We need evidence. There's one in my pack. And I will mark that off on my load that I brought. Whatever,
Yeah. And
primitive camera.
Yeah. You have a camera with several silver bulbs that will allow you to take about 10 photographs.
I think for a second, he's sort of like comes out of his stupor for a second to finally respond, and I'll take photographs of the setup of the prisoners hooked up to him before we've gotten it out, the room above, and just narratively, I hope a few of these books have made it into that packs as well, and along with wall hangings if we need them.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's make like a study or survey roll to make sure that you're getting the highest quality possible evidence of this and getting the photographs in a good way, essentially.
Sure, I'll go study.
Great.
Okay, that's a 4.
Okay, great. Yeah, so you're able to get a general good sense of that you're actually taking the pictures you need to take. You hear, we're going to finish with that 4. We're going to finish the descending tide, and you start to hear screams from outside. There are people who are being caught by descending ghosts. You also hear some heavy footsteps descending the stairs towards possibly this laboratory. Big, clanky footsteps that might be from familiar friends.
No, thank you.
So you
tell him no, thank you.
Sorry, we're taking no visitors.
I'm going to try again with Elias. Problem is obviously telling the truth. I'm going to say to him, okay, you are dead. Yes. We're here to take you to your rest. Just follow us. You'll be at peace.
Great. Yeah. Do the lie. Got it. You got it.
That's a 5.
Okay. Yes. Yes. He says, all right. And he rises up. Yeah, he rises up with your help. And it seems to not note the strangeness of having corporeal hands, holy corporeal hands with a ghost, but staggers out. He sees his daughter Val, Peter's mother, who is also, she's agreeable and is following, as well as the other 2 railjack leaders. You guys are but anything else you guys are doing down here?
There's no way out but up, right?
There's no way out but up. There are 3 staircases out of the manufacturing floor up to the other one, so you could still potentially try and sneak past whoever these folks are if they're on that floor or above it.
I'm more worried about the ghosts.
Yeah, the ghosts too.
Yeah, we need to go.
Yeah, we can.
What is Hix doing right now?
Hix and
actually,
Dylan?
yes,
Yep.
That's exactly where I want to be.
Y'all give it a tick. Let me see what I can do out here.
Yeah.
Great. What am I looking at here? So Dylan just met up with some other Sparkwrights and is leaving. I'm gonna look at him and I'm gonna say, Dylan, tell me where to go. And
Great.
I'm rolling command. That's a 4.
Great. Yeah.
To get out of here. Tell me where to go to get out of here. That's a 4.
Yeah, Dylan says this is like moments before all this is happening. So he says, he turns to the other Sparkwrights and says, there must be a train coming for us, isn't there? And one of them, an older woman, looks a bit dour and says, a train doesn't come for a Code White.
Oh.
Nothing survives a Code White. And Dylan, obviously is just sort of freaking out and goes,
where was this in the contract? It wasn't even in the paperwork when I signed up for this job.
Well, you should have unionized, buddy.
Yeah. Let this be a lesson.
All right,
he says,
I'm going to.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna. Okay, when I hear that, I'm done with them. I'm going to turn around and I'm running to the Deathlands carriage. I'm gathering the cloaks that we cast off so like dramatically, like badasses.
Yes.
Arranging things, and I guess I want to do.
Let me really quickly interrupt you. Just like as you're trying to leave, I think Dylan is all you overhear, and you can make a choice about this. You overhear him shouting with them, and he says, "Surely there is some way that we can get out of here. They wouldn't have completely abandoned us." And the woman says, she sort of looks askance and says, "You know the maintenance shed. We stored a train car in it. We can put it onto the rails. We can get out of here, but it'll only take a few." So you overhear this discussion. They have a car which they can put onto the rails.
I mean, is someone already doing that? I can't help but wonder. No, yeah, I think I'm gonna be scoping out our ride and
great.
Seeing if I can get this thing functional.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's make a roll for how you like trying to get it tilted back onto its correct side and everything.
Yeah. Is that possible?
I think so.
Is that possible to do?
Yeah. You could leverage it. You've got a lot of steel around you. You could try and leverage something or something.
All right. Great. I'm just wondering what I would roll for that. I'm not much of a skirmisher, but I could roll skirmish.
I could see finesse for it. I mean, I could even see. I mean, if you really wanted to push like a study or survey, or you could command and try and get some other like. If you could convince some people that like, hey, we can help you get out if you can help me lift this thing.
But we don't have room. We don't have room for all these fools.
You may not. Yes.
Break some promises, baby.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna be walking out, and I'm gonna see some
maintenance folks. Yeah. Ministry employees.
Low-level people like myself, and I'm gonna say, help me, come with me, help me. And I'm gonna just roll command, I guess.
Yeah, do it. Roll it.
Right. That's a 5.
Okay, that's pretty good. So 3 of them, there's 4 of them. 2 of them say, "Fuck that, I'm trying to get out of here alive." And they run towards the same maintenance shed. And you see 2 of them, like as they're going, like there's a sweep of bluish light as like a ghost comes out of nowhere around a building and like this and immediately sort of like grapples onto one of these engineers who are so like they're fighting with them. There are ghosts everywhere starting to swirl around you in the sky. 2 of them are like, "We'll come with you," and they run after you. And yeah, you start moving and start like tilting this thing up. They're helping you get leverage this thing. They've got like a big old piece of steel they're using as a pry bar. The thing is getting lifted up and rolls back onto its wheels. One of the doors is off. It is left behind in the Bone Hills somewhere. It is in rough shape, but it is still intact and still could potentially work. Vorian is unconscious inside.
He's like flopping around.
I'm
like, "Thanks, buddy."
He is out of commission. Yeah. So if there's something more you want to do, yeah.
Can I do one more thing before we switch back to
certainly you
crew?
can.
Okay,
No
I think I want to tinker this thing.
Okay.
I have 0 dots in tinker, so I will push myself, and I would also like to have the devil's bargain if possible.
Absolutely. What is the intention of the tinker?
My intention is to make sure this thing can get us out of here.
Yeah.
That it is mechanically functional enough to get us out of here.
Yeah, I love it. Here's one devil's bargain I'll offer. No matter how much stress you have at the end of this score, you become traumatized. That's one devil's bargain.
Okay.
Which I think is fun. But you can
see the wheels turning like, okay, so that means I can do as much as I want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can push the rest of your XP. That's one possible devil's bargain. Another one you will have an encounter with a ghost that ends with you getting a serious ghost burn by the end of this, which would be a lasting effect of some kind. I don't know. I feel like honestly the first one's probably the best choice, but your call if there's suggestions of other devil's bargains.
Well, I mean, what are we looking at here? That's going to be basically you're giving me 5 stress for 1 die, and only a fool would bargain with that devil.
Yes.
Except you can still use that stress. It just it like eliminates the variable of wondering
yeah,
if
the
you're going to
stress-
be
If
pushed
you'll
to
get
the end.
over
Yeah,
time.
the stress only the trauma only happens at the end of the session, so you still get to
great.
use the stress.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
take that.
Okay, great. So yeah, these engineers, they don't know anything about you, but you feel this unnatural, like something beyond anything that you have ever done. You know, like you've had to sit back on the sidelines and fix things and make them work and make the machine work from a distance, and you just channel all this energy from somewhere. And I don't know if there's like specific things that Hix calls on in this moment to like make this work, but just leaps into work with this engine and with the other, you know, engineers here. And they, you know, immediately like fall into suit. Like you were commanding them and they're like, yes, absolutely. They immediately are just like following your leadership with this. But yeah, you're hooking this back up, and actually you take some of the gear, the cloaks that you would have been wearing before, and you hook them up as sort of a temporary door, like essentially putting saran wrap over the open window of the car kind of thing, to block it off temporarily, as well as getting the engine up and running in a way that seems like it's going to really work. You even get started running sort of warm as you're doing this.
Great.
Yeah. Awesome.
Wonderful. Love
Really
it.
cool. That's fantastic. So how's everyone else doing? What are you up to?
Okay, so
You've got the daguerreotypes. You've got some books. You've got 5 hurt, half-naked railjacks.
Oh, there's 5? Okay,
There's 5 of them.
I'll take 4 of them, 2 on each shoulder.
There he goes.
Well, some of them are going with you willingly.
Some of them are able to walk.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
Let's say 3 of them actually can walk. Pike is nearly dead, but Val and Elias are fine, and one of the others, an older man, is.
Okay, I'll take
out of
Pike
commission.
and the gentleman, and
Yeah. Great.
I'll start struggling my way up through the trapdoor.
Yeah.
I just want to get
Aldo-
them out of here ASAP.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aldo's like busy on the floor, working. He's like, Varric, get me some of the. It's like pointing at the quicksilver that there was going into them.
This one?
Yes, and then working with some kind of, if there's any sparkcraft around that I can work with, sort of in a panic, trying to assemble something. We cannot go out there with those ghosts. They will eat us alive.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to create something. I don't know how long or how effective it will be, but I want to use my new Ghost Ward ability to tinker. I want to wreck an area, is what it's described. So I want to have something that can help us get out to our ride. But I
Just
think
like that.
think I need some
Yeah.
help.
So you're able to gather some sparkcraft. You find in the
This is
basement,
amazing.
the second basement, there's some gear. There's some look like crown-like gear that was probably put onto the heads of these of the people who were being experimented on that may
Okay.
have amplified their attention to the ghost field. There's some of that tech. There's a bunch of stuff up in the upper room, sort of half-finished bits of this.
Right. I'm gonna
find
grab
a-
some
yeah.
of this stuff and be throwing it together, and at some point I'm gonna hold it in my hand. And are you assisting me, Varric? Are you the one
I am
who's here?
assisting you.
I
Yep.
think it's Bram. You're carrying a dude out, struggling your way.
2.
Two.
Yeah, two.
You're busy.
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
go up.
Fantastic.
You could
And I'm
push
going-
desperate. Well, actually, I think it's desperate already. But
I'll go desperate with some assist from Varric, and I'm going to attune at it to finish it to
Okay.
wreck the area as it's described.
Okay. Great.
And
Love it.
ask for Varric's hand, to in the manner of Bram and Aldo.
yeah, you're tuning together. I love it.
And I'll roll.
Oh no, double sixes!
Yes!
Is it?
Yes.
Yes!
But
Amazing,
can I say one thing as
Yes.
the focus and there's like sweat starting to come down, and as I reach out a hand and I'm touching Varric, when you grab my hand, I think you catch a glimpse, just for a moment, of a woman outside of a wall holding a child and screaming, please, please, please take him, just for a moment. and then double sixes.
Yeah. You've all risen. You're all getting finally out of the basement, and you were hearing these footsteps above, and you actually hear some more noise and fighting as you ascend to the second floor. So the place to get out, there's all these windows, this sort of open area. You see several of the windows have shattered, and there are ghosts floating in the air above one of these Sparkcraft soldiers. And the soldier is like completely not noticing you, and like striking out with lightning at these figures. It's not clear who is going to win in this battle, but as this happens, Aldo, finishes this task, and you just feel, all of you feel this like triple heartbeat, all of your heart, this weird, all of you feel off and immediately feel sick and strange. And this is the anathema, right? You're making this so ghosts won't enter this, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Aldo and Varric, let's say, have affixed these weird crowns to their own heads, and you've got this attached to like a half a tank of Leviathan oil that you are holding, and there's like occult symbols that are glowing on the tank, and on Aldo's eyes are just glowing this godly, like insane ghost apotheosis. You guys step out down the ramp, and around you, the wall is completely gone, and it is dark out here. There's just like almost no light. The only light is from the rail above you, and you are essentially walking with this like rippling anti-ghost ward around you that Aldo has created. And you see the carriage is up and potentially running.
I'm rolling up, and I'm like, get it!
Yes.
All right,
like
Rosie,
this, and I'm
Rail
like-
Jackson.
I'm like passing out like carcasses of like or hides of dead things that people are like, put this shit on.
Put on your meat helmets.
Yes.
So you all just like, I can't hold it.
Yes. Yeah, so you all get inside. The thing is still holding, and Hix, you feel this same energy. You can pack these people in really, really tightly. Yeah, I think people are going to be sitting on top of each other. It's going to be like, this is generally designed.
Ankles in here, baby.
Yeah, this is like
Or as Aldo is coming to get in last, I say, "You've got a shield. You get on top."
Huh?
And I close the door before it can get in.
Just climb up on
Top it is.
Aldo who's like wearing this weird like drug crown, eyes like white and wide.
Yes,
Like,
it's
okay,
madness.
I'm getting on top, like climbing up
Yes.
on top.
The Deathlands carriage starts to like thunk across the landscape, heading in the direction that you assume the rail leads towards Doskvol. So as you're going, you're just like continuing to thump along this. The Vorian is still unconscious. The railjacks are freaking out, and you all feel this energy. And after about 5 minutes, I mean, you've been going for a little while, well, probably only 3 minutes or so, the effects of the ward start to sort of ripple and wane, and you can even see these like strange ripplings in your vision. And you see behind you, there are hundreds of ghosts following in your wake, and as you and as the ward starts to crumble, some of them starts to screech forward, sort of inhuman, these just like jabs of energy, molten blue lava as much as humanoid shapes. So you all see from the rear window a couple of these coming towards you. There's about 5 of them that are getting close to your range. Aldo and Varric, you can feel the effects possibly waning around the carriage. What do you all do?
Can I take some stress to try one more, just like brain blast?
Just to extend the use of the thing. Yeah, absolutely. You can totally do it. Any other actions from anyone else, or that you want to do as well, or?
I'd love to put in a Spirit Bane charm for my load.
Cool.
So I'll kind of like wrap it around my neck like a pendant, and then climb out onto the top next to Aldo and clench my fists as they begin to become translucent and ghostly, and just plant my feet and get ready.
Woo! Yes, amazing. I love it.
If you want, Bram, I could try to bring them in if you'd like.
No need.
Yeah.
Let's not.
We're not that excited about it.
Don't
Any other
ask
action?
him. You know him. You know what I'll say. Don't ask me.
Anything from Varric or Girl or Hix? Not that you have to have
the
something.
metal. I'm the
You're just running that
real
engine.
person at this
Yes.
point.
I have a very desperate action that I'm keeping in my pocket for if things go wrong.
Okay, great. Well, then let's. So a couple of these ghosts, as the energy of this is sort of waning, are able to get through. A couple of them are actually like burned up in the influence of whatever Aldo is creating. But two of them come close. Bram, you can make a skirmish action to punch the crap out of them with increased effect from the Spirit Bane charm.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. And I'd like to trade position for effect because I'm standing on the top of the moving car.
Yes.
And I'm just trying to keep them away. I'm not really going for harm to them.
No, it's just fending them off.
Keep them out of the car.
Totally. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that's a 6.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so a couple of these comes towards you, and you just punch through them, and there's a screech, like mind-curdling screech that comes through, and you feel, it's no longer really a human feeling, but you feel some of the sentiments that linger in this spirit as you make contact with it, and just like washes through you, and you just take it, and like boom, boom, like 4 or 5 of these ghosts sort of come towards you, and these flaming fists fly through them. There's still a few more. We're going to say that we've got a clock of pursuing ghosts, which is an 8-part clock. We've just filled 3 out of 8 to dissuade the ghosts.
Should I make my attune roll to see if I can extend this? Okay.
Absolutely, you totally can. Yeah.
I will take stress to have
All right, someone could aid if they wanted to, but your call.
Can aid.
Varric, you don't aid, you crazy boy.
It's really fun being able to see everyone's stress because it raises all the stakes. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
No,
hey, Hix has stress to burn, right?
He's busy. He's driving.
I don't fuck with ghost shit.
Yeah, maybe you're helping. You're helping by keeping the wheel steady.
Yes.
Hell yeah! I mean, yeah. I'll
give him
if that's allowed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely allowed. Yeah.
All right, I accept.
Yes. So like some good piloting.
Yeah, it's really, really steady. Like right.
Okay. And I'll full on Jean Grey like Scott, and I'll like. Okay, just 1-6.
Okay, great. Yeah, but fantastic. Yeah, you feel this renewed, just like all of you feel this nauseating feeling as this space is anathema to living things as well as ghosts, but more so to ghosts than humans. So you imagine this must be an even worse feeling for them. So more of them like pouring in. It's like, actually, we were referencing Ponyo earlier. It's like one of those moments where like all those little babies are like pouring through this big bubble. It's really creepy, but all that with like creepy blue ghost evil crap. You know how it is. They're just like pummeling the outside of this, but like washing around it until you're actually, the entire thing is encased in blue. Like you can't see any of the landscape outside. You were just surrounded by ghosts who are like desperately, like they're like these ghostly hands are just like clawing their way in. So we're gonna, since that's a 6, we're gonna put another 3 into the ghost dissuaded clock. So we've got 6 out of 8 in that clock. So anyone else want to make an action?
I'd like to roll a prowl action to intending to evade these
awesome
creatures.
That's great.
Is there some sort of, what am I looking at terrain wise up ahead?
Yeah,
so I'm following these tracks that are leading to basically the main train line that takes goods into Doskvol.
That's correct. That's exactly right.
Okay.
There's on your right, there's still some of the bone hills. You could like try and go into the forest and like try to evade them through the trees. Or you could go underneath the struts of the rail, which has some lightning protection, which could dissuade them somewhat. Or you could just like swerve on the open plain and just like book it forward as fast as you can.
Great. I think I'll go for under the struts that are somewhat guarded.
Yeah, great.
I suppose it would be prowl. I'll go ahead and push myself. Why not?
Yeah, do it.
And I rolled a 6.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, so you swerve through this, and there are ghosts just like being scorched by the score as you pass by these like lightning covered struts, and you just feel this psychic energy. There is another energy that's helping you. You feel like Aldo, you feel a power, and Hix, you look behind you and you see the 5 railjacks who have been experimented on. They are all standing together in a circle, holding hands with each other, and like looking upward, and all of their eyes are steaming like huge amounts of billowing white ghost smoke. And you all feel this like chaotic ghost energy that is just like rippling off of the carriage against these ghosts.
So glad I didn't throw Elias to the ghosts.
Yeah, thank goodness. Was that your desperate action?
I was gonna chuck him out.
You're like, take that. Be
I was
with
gonna
your
stick him full of
grandsons.
Quicksilver and be like,
Oh my gosh, amazing. It's terrible. So yeah, they with that, the last of the ghosts are thrown off and left behind in this dissipating cloud of bluish ghost energy. You are just still rocketing through the place, and there's no sense of reprieve immediately. I mean, it is still the chaos of this night and the dark horror of the Deathlands. But you eventually make it back to the lightning wall of Doskvol and are able to specifically to make it to the bright stone gate that you came in on, which is the entrance that you know of. And unless there is something that you would like to do related to that re-entry, we can, for expediency, go through that. One of you got back into nobleman attire, Varric likely, and said, "Oh, we're back early. The others are coming back tomorrow." One of them became injured, showing them Lord Vorian, who you bring out briefly without showing them the interior of the vehicle.
like, just wave his hand outside.
yeah, the weekend at Bernie's him.
Yeah, exactly. And eventually are able to make it back into Doskvol with a car full of people.
Wow. Okay.
You've made
well,
it. So we'll say that, these ministry employees probably head off on their own soon after, profusely thanking Hix for his help.
Oh, did we give them a ride? I wasn't intending on giving them
Oh.
a ride. But if we could have given them a ride, then
If you,
great.
I mean, if
Should
you
have thrown them
like,
to the ghosts.
basically, how did you deal with them? If not, like, that's totally legit. Did you shoot them in the head, or what was your move?
No, I was figuring like I'd be like getting in and
Yes.
leaving, and I'm
Slam
just
the
like,
door shut.
the only
Yeah.
way you'll live is if you hide in the boar corpse and just peel out. And I'm pretty confident that
Yeah.
like dead things repel ghosts, right? So I
That's
imagine
correct.
that these two dudes like spend the night together inside a giant dead boar
Yeah.
and
All
wake
right.
up tomorrow with
Matchmaker,
a new problem on their
matchmaker.
hands. Yeah, I'm just like, goodbye, good luck, I'm sorry, thank you.
Amazing.
bye.
Yeah.
Good
So
luck.
it's just
I'm
you
sorry,
and the
bye.
Railjacks. Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah, I think you're picked up either by the Orca's Tooth or on a dinghy that you've left at the Brightstone dock outside the Brightstone Deathlands Gate. And yeah, would you say the Frosthunters probably wouldn't be expecting you, or maybe they would. You had them on call.
We did
if
have
you
them
want.
on call, yeah. I mean, that seems probably about right.
Yeah, sure.
It seems like we need to take these railjacks, like the Orca's Tooth
Somewhere safe.
seems like a safe-ish place to take
Yeah.
them. It seems
Well,
like
and-
where
and
they are is being
and when they
watched.
get onto the tooth, Peter is there to welcome to
yeah.
get his grandfather and,
Oh, yeah,
and-
your
and
ward.
grandma.
Well, and
Yeah.
maybe we could take it. Maybe, I mean, we can't really keep these people here. Can we take some of them to Eckerd? I feel like he'll help us out.
Yeah, I think he'd be willing to temporarily take in a bunch of like ghost wounded people.
I mean, I'm not looking at Aldo. I'm just like, Aldo, what do you? I mean,
Why he deals
right.
with the dead, these people are clearly living. I think we could find someplace better to go than him.
I
Right.
mean, the Queen's Magnolia could be a sort of convalescence room for them.
Since we have room on the, I mean, that's a great idea. I would give I could make some space in the lab.
I'm with you, Aldo.
Right. So yeah, there's a sort of strange calm that descends upon you as you return to the Queen's Magnolia. You don't have to. You're suddenly not in this frantic chase, and you realize how this horrible, terrible city is in its own way a sanctuary against what is out there, in terms of how horrible it could possibly be, which is a terrifying thought, given your experiences in Doskvol. But you probably don't take it that way. At this point, it's just like, oh my gosh, thank goodness that we're here and not, consumed by ghosts constantly. Let's get your payout and your heat and all the other things. So, So in terms of payoff, there's no coin related to. You'll get paid by your employer, the people who hired you to do this, which we'll play in a scene a little bit later on. But you're also going to get an additional payout. I was going to give you either 2 coin for getting just the Death Hounds trophies, which you could sell and get money off of, or 5 coin if you defeated the boar in a way that its head was salvageable. I think in this case, probably not. So you'll get 2 coin in the immediate moment for having sold the Deathlands Hound trophies. We'll figure out a little bit the fallout of what happened with Brace Meriden and Lord Vorian and the rest down the line. They probably have a contingency plan in case the split parties had a problem. Then for heat, 0 heat is smooth and quiet, low exposure. 2 heat is contained, standard. 4 heat is loud and chaotic, high. And 6 heat is wild, devastating exposure.
I am going to argue.
We went a code white, but I mean, would that be pinned on us?
It was the boar. It was like 100% the boar.
It was the boar's fault.
Yes.
Also, doesn't it code white destroy the evidence, basically? I mean,
and who would have made us on the scene itself? We didn't save, I guess, the people we left behind who slept in the boar's corpse.
Yeah.
But are they gonna make it out of the Deathlands? No.
Yeah, no, they're not. They might survive the night, but they're not gonna make it out.
You might as well have shot those guys in the head. Good
It would have been more easier, dude.
So some of them were putting that rail car on the
on the tracks. They might have made it back. So there is going to be some news because you guys are actively going to be spreading news of what happens, and that you're going to have declared, you're going to be making this public, and so there's going to be questions about who's responsible for the end of it. So I'm happy to take that as an argument for reduced heat. Totally, I would totally take that.
Or we'll take all the heat. I mean, if there's credit to be had for taking down the ministry, then it's okay, yeah, I guess that was us.
Yeah, sure, yeah. So I
mean, we're gonna clear it all here in a second anyway.
Yeah, you're gonna clear a great deal.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So what do you think?
I'd vote 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I say go 3. I mean, I don't even I never look at this sheet, so I never think about this part of the game. I'm sorry if I don't really.
Well, we're felons.
That
pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
We're wanted, level 2.
Wanted criminals.
Yeah. I mean, I knew we were wanted, but.
So we'll do 3, and we'll do a +1 for high profile or well connected targets. That sound good? 4 total. 4 total heat. Great.
Sure.
You're mad about it. You're upset. So here's some fallout of the event. Some rumors that happen over the next little bit. The news that you have revealed and given to maybe some contacts or whoever you gave it to has exploded.
We gave it to the white stag lady, right?
Yeah, absolutely. To whatever, to the content there, yeah. So the news you've revealed explodes all over the city. You can imagine newspapers chugging in your sleep, printing the headlines. Railjacks suffered ghost experimentation at hands of ministry, engine silent. An article declares, sources have given us physical evidence and records of the torture committed on employees of the ministry, purportedly for the creation of ghost-imbued agents. Medley Everett buys out an ad in the Charter Hall chart maker, declaring, come see the new play by the playwright who predicted Ruthless Engine's downfall. The Primus of the Spirit Wardens gives a speech condemning the acts and declaring that the Crown should increase the power of the Wardens in order to avoid something like this from happening again. Within hours, however, there is a response from the Ministry of Preservation. The next morning, 7 names of high-ranking ministry officials come forward. 4 of them turn themselves in to the inspectors, while 3 of them are found while trying to escape. And a story begins to emerge. These 7 individuals, it is declared, were all solely responsible for the experiments that took place beneath Hawksend Depot in the depicted locations. Engim and the rest of the board, the story continues, had last visited more than a year and a half ago. They had no idea what was happening down below. Engim comes forward the next day, completely taking the blame for the mistakes of the ministry. He says, "I may not have known what was happening, but I must take responsibility." And full of heartbroken rage for the Railjacks, he says, "No imprisonment or fine can make up for the suffering caused by those under my supervision. It is only a beginning, but I will be tripling salaries for all Railjacks for the rest of the year." A few newspapers rushed to Engim's defense, calling him noble in the face of treachery, but many others continued to question his narrative. Hawksend Depot had been announced, the people cite that Hawksend Depot had been announced as a development laboratory for improved anti-ghost equipment. How could it be that Ruthus had not been there in a year? I'm dropping these rumors.
This is too real.
Jeffrey Bezos.
Where's my escapism?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. It's too ambiguous, guys. Not gonna be
Punch
easy.
someone.
Do you have the names of the 4 individuals who resigned?
Do I have them? I do not
Yeah.
have the names. I can get them to you momentarily.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'll get.
One
I'll
of them
get
will be named Dylan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Oh,
Dylan.
I'm still
poor
chuckling
Dylan.
about
Oh.
Dylan.
He's somehow
and-
still attached to me.
Yeah, there are. It is revealed in the news that there were several survivors from the Hawksend Depot, and there are 4 or 5 Spark Wrights and a couple ministry people. The Spark Wrights are actually immediately taken in by the sort of larger Spark Wrights organization. Even though they had left the organization to join the ministry, they immediately sort of get taken under the wing of their organization and
The
protected
Spark Wrights
from
Guild?
media. Yeah, the Spark Wrights Guild, and they get taken away from sort of media attention, so they don't get interviewed, and they refuse to make comments on anything that happened at the Hawksend Depot.
Not bad for us.
Yeah, not terrible for you guys. So there's also the fallout from this revelation also affects the current labor unrest. A vote is made in the assembly forcing the ministry to respect Railjack unionization. So this was recent, more of a discussion before, but it passes not unanimously, but with a lot of support on all the sides, including from the Progress Consortium.
How did our man vote?
Robert Boom. There's another vote as well, and there's another there's the bid that the ministry was making to be fully divested of its connection to the crown, so no longer connected to it financially or dependent upon it for decision making. That was a big vote, and it was really close. And in a tie-breaking vote, Robert Boom ended that bid and made it so the ministry would remain connected to.
Our man.
Man.
Robert Boom, man, is the boy.
Miss Doom!
Breaker.
The strikes at the factories in Coleridge are also enhanced for the next week or so by the addition of fireworks after that announcement. And for several nights, you can see fireworks going off above the roofs of that industrial district. So that's our 4th of July tie-in for anyone watching this in real time. There's also, so that's most of the news becomes essentially about this situation. You see Silas Ward, the leader of the inspectors, declare, that he's very pleased with this discovery, and the inspectors vow to continue to keep a watchful eye on both great and small. He's very very concerned. Expresses that no one is above the law, not even Ruthus Engim. He appears unconvinced by Engim's continued stories of innocence. Any other thoughts from you guys about things that you would be interested in, whether or not things happened or things that you think should have happened in response to this, or other rumors that you guys are interested in? You don't have to be.
I assume my father voted against the ministry's attempted independence, right?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he was on Robert Boom's side. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, that. And Hannah Cleon
Although
also
if you
voted
told him
for...
that he was on Robert Boom's side, he really was. Robert Boom was on my side.
Yes, exactly. Hannah Cleon voted for Railjack unionization, but not for... She was one of the opposing votes for the ministry. She was voting for the ministry to become independent, which a lot of Progress Consortium folks were. So... So she voted for the big PR vote, but not necessarily for the other one. People
Right.
paying attention to. Moms are the worst in that specific way. So yeah, you have just finished this big score. Got a lot of stuff going. If there's anything, any particular scenes you want to do, basically there's one thing that I want to have happen at some point is this moment with Lyssa and the end of all this situation. If people want to do some indulging vice before then or whatever, you're welcome to do so.
I would love to indulge some vice because I'm pretty close to some trauma.
Oh, and also I'm curious as to so Hix at the end of what does it look like with Hix taking trauma at the end of the thing? Does he collapse at the wheel of this thing? How does that happen?
I think Hix is just like just seeing all this fucked up shit just is crying. It's just like driving and crying and very detached. After like seeing like these ghosts explode into psychic bits that settle all over this like sensitive psychic maniac. And like these 5 like drug-addled working class people, like ghost shit coming out of their eyes. It's just, and like the whole Boar situation and sending those people to the Boar as their only hope. It just seems like it's been just a lot. So just like crying.
Seeing Francis killed and split in half.
Ripped in half just like that. It was just like so
Deeply
very detached
frustrating.
and extremely emotional, just like crying inconsolably.
And like when you get back to the Magnolia that night, does he just like peace off on his own? Does he? You probably don't see him for a few days. He's just off. And if there's anything you want to fill us in about the way that he spends his time while sort of considering all this, would love to hear that, but you don't have to fill that in.
Hix would go home and stay at home for a bit.
Does he visit is he consider visiting his friend in Dunslow?
Definitely. But we'll see.
Great. No, we don't have to go too much into it, but that's great. So you were going to indulge vice, Bram?
I would love to. And for the sake of, brevity, we'll say that Bram is going to find Marlene at a particular haunt of hers. Say, where was the place we had lunch that one time? Was that the Twig?
Yeah, it might have been the Twig. I'm remembering this location, but not this location. Let's say that it's the Twig. I love it. Okay,
I find her at the Twig, maybe on like the second try.
Sure. Yes.
One afternoon, and I just of course go in drunk, start picking a fight, making a scene. We take it out back, and I just let her punch the crap out of me, and get some pretty nasty verbal jabs in. While that's going on.
She, at first, obviously you're in a bad way. I mean, you're hurt. You've got this like this electrical, you're like twitching. You're having all this weird stuff happen to you, and she's just sort of her any sympathy she has transforms almost immediately into judgments and into like frustration with you and the way that you choose to live your life and the way that it affects her. And it's just this sort of twisted conversation where you make a bid for maybe some sympathy from her. I'm not sure if that's even the angle. You might just be trying to I
think so. I think honestly, Brum might see this as a moment of either getting the sympathy, or if he sees he can't get it, then burning the bridge. Her last chance. He very egocentrically.
Yes, and maybe it's something to the effect of, when she says you don't realize how much you're ruining my life, and he said, and he could say something to the effect of, I am, I'm the best thing in your life, and if you don't want me in your life, whatever, and just ending with this horrible and probably there is some physical like abuse, but it's less like I'm punching you in the face and more like, just like her like taking you out back and just like, grabbing your wrists until they bruise, or just like, just these horrible, this terribly pathetic fight between the two of you. Not that your strength is pathetic, but just like the pathos of it.
And by the end of it, I think Bram is just so exhausted that he just passes out there in the alley and sleeps for like 13 hours until some beat cop on the beat rousts him and sends him home.
Yeah. Is it something to the effect of where like by the end of it, she says, "We're done"? Is that how much burning the bridge is?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
who knows how much
it doesn't mean she never has to appear again, but
no, of course not. No, and those relationships like that are too complicated to really end so easily. But I think that she probably says something to that effect before just like spitting blood into the canal and walking away. And yeah.
We're healthy.
Such healthy characters. How'd your indulge?
4.
Okay, so you remove 4 stress. So that de-stresses you a bit. Somehow.
Gotta love it.
Oh man, brutal. Yeah. Anything else for your downtime? For anyone? Any indulgences? Oh, go ahead.
I think Girl is going to sort of be not tracking Hix, but trying to tell when they, once they sort of start showing their face again, she'd like to climb in through a window.
Yeah. And is she able to get in, Hix? Is he amenable to that? Does he try to, just like making sure that you have consent for the interaction, or how he would engage with it?
Yeah.
How they would engage with it.
I mean, I think I'd know it to you, probably.
Cool. Yeah, so you're able to get in through a window. There's a big painted wall, like one of the walls in the apartment is painted from one time that he took a drug and just like got drunk and painted all over the walls.
Tim O'Leary's mansion. Have you seen what Tim O'Leary?
Yeah, it was like Tim O'Leary's mansion up in here. Yes, you're right.
I live in the town where Tim O'Leary did all his psychedelic experiments. Anyways.
Wow.
Okay, so she sort of pops her head through the window, slides onto the floor, sits cross-legged, looks at them. Hi.
This is like, just sitting there. Hi. Hello.
I thought maybe you'd want to go dancing, or we could get Varric to buy us dinner, or we could find your friend who cries the tears, or Love. Love with the loud voice and then,
Yeah. No, it's okay. We just gotta. I think we need to finish up this Lyssa thing, and then I think I'm gonna go away for a little bit and take a bit of a break. I think I think we just need to finish this up. And I'm glad that you're here because we need to talk about it.
So, no dancing then, I guess.
No dancing.
All right.
But if this isn't a good time, if you're in the mood for dancing, you can. I can tell you where Love lives. She's great, and she'd love to go with you. But I need to really work this out and close this chapter. I'm sorry. I don't have anything to give right now.
Well, the Lyssa thing. Sure, we can talk about the Lyssa thing.
I can catch you at another time when you're in a headspace for
No,
a skill for you.
We can do that now. It's just it's hard to see you like this, Hix.
Yeah. It's hard. It is hard to see me like this. I feel that way too.
Drugs? Alcohol? No.
No.
All
I
right.
think I need to get sober for a little bit. I need to just have some sober time and really take some stock, because this has been, there's a lot that I am not reckoning with. There's a lot that I'm not connecting with, a lot that I'm trying to escape from, and I recognize that. And I think I have to take it easy.
You know, Hix, I pretend to be many people, and I always thought it would be fun to pretend to be you. But I think maybe I'm wrong about that. And she'll stand up and sort of like, so Lyssa, I'm tricking her, I'm seducing her, I'm bluffing her. How do you want to swing this?
The main idea is that you are going to convince her you are a shopkeeper who's opening your place in Silk Shore, and you grew up in Crow's Foot and have trusted the Crows, and you are hoping that you can enter a formal arrangement with them to protect your business.
Right.
The idea is that this will be enticing to her because it will be a move into the Red Sash's territory. And I think that she's going to jump at that. And once you get her into the space, you need to get her to admit that she was behind the elimination of the Foghound.
I mean, easy enough, right? And she sort of laughs. Is there a particular character you want me to go for? I could do, I could cry or be sort of motherly. I could seduce her, or, at least be seductive. I could be posh, although I don't know if that would work in the area.
Lyssa is really going to respect somebody who can hang with her. So it's going to be probably pretty important that you aren't overly concerned with impressing her, but that you are expecting her to impress you.
Oh, I can do that. All right.
I think that you're going to do great. And we're going to have, ideally the rest of the crew will be there on hand. They won't be able to be in the actual room because Lyssa knows all of our faces. And then I also have a backup plan in case everything goes wrong that will be waiting on the roof across the street. So if Lyssa leaves the building, she will not leave the street. But if she leaves the building in police custody, Wilkes Danbury is going to be planted there with a team of his men. If she leaves in Wilkes Danbury's custody, then she'll go to jail. She'll take the fall for us. And if she chooses not to, then there's a plan in place. But you won't have to worry about that.
Well, I have my costume all sorted out, and she'll sort of go to the window that is still open, start climbing out, and maybe we can dance again once you've got some things sorted. She'll disappear into the night, presumably, and knowing what time they've set up to do the sting.
Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, all the details sorted out. Any other moments or either just conversations or preparations before this moment with Lyssa? Varric, did you have something? You are muted currently.
Yeah, I was also going to go and find the girl, actually. Bella, how did you leave things with Hanacleon? If you don't mind my inquiring.
Badly? I think I always leave things with Hannock beyond badly.
Does it feel good?
Varric, it feels great.
Do you have any interest breaking into a house with me?
What house did you have in mind?
It's just the Lomond estate, perhaps.
And for what purpose?
I just have a note I want to leave. Just closing up some business.
And if you leave the note and I maybe grab a couple jewels or a necklace or some coin?
I think as a valuable member of our team and as a friend of a proud son of the Lomond family, that should be perfectly fine.
All right. What night?
Whenever you're free,
Tonight?
let's do it.
You are standing behind the Lomond estate, several streets away. There are several entrances. There's a servant's quarters entrance that leads into the kitchens. There's the main entrance. There's a back entrance. There's a canal entrance where you originally stole the rough penny from. There's also the stable entrance. So lots of ways in. You could climb up the side, the ivy that leads up to your roof, where you climbed up a few times when you were originally leaving the house at midnight to meet Oyun. What does your approach look like?
I'd say up the ivy to the roof.
Great. Yeah. Perfect. So you can roll one of you can roll a prowl, or however you want to do it.
Yeah, or do we need to both roll a prowl, or can I?
One of you can do it for both of you.
That I will push myself as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. It's a 5.
All right. There's a little bit of clattering as a loose stone falls off the side, and you think, "Oh my gosh, my father's going to be very mad about that. We're going to he's going to want that repaired." He always can notice when things are just the slightest bit wrong. But you're able to get you can get into your room directly, your old room, or you can get up onto the roof. Your preference.
Let's go into my old room.
Okay. Yeah. So you can tell us a bit about it.
Well, it looks about the same as, like, pretty much untouched from when I left. It's got this huge king-sized 4-poster bed, and it's actually got some like porcelain dolls kind of around on the edges from when Varric was younger, and it's sort of, there's a lot of items from different activities that like the nobles tend to do, some sort of like things that he's tried to engage in. Like he sort of got his parents to buy him a fancy instrument or something, and tried it once and was terrible at it, and it's kind of sitting in a corner over there.
Dusty viola.
Yeah, just like loads of stuff where he's clearly spent most of his childhood like trying out lots of things, and just none of them are very important to him anymore. Like none of them were particularly used very much. They were all sort of tried out once and then stuck in a corner. Yeah.
There's also a painting on the wall that is of his two parents, Varric's two parents, and him as a very young child wearing a frilly dress, a child's dress, you know how they do. And even in the portrait, this painted portrait, he's looking up at his father. And his mother is holding his hand very, like, you can see that she's really tenderly holding his hand, whereas his father's hands are not touching him. It's also sorry, just information for the girl. This is a significantly nicer house than the Cleon's house, putting them somewhere in the upper 5% of Doskvol. Where if the nobility is the top 15-20%, the Lomonds are the top 5.
Take everything.
Yeah. Any other details you were thinking, Jamie? And also any corrections on anything I put in?
No. That all attracts me. No, I was just gonna say he like looks at the paint portrait for like a couple of seconds, and then just quickly sort of turns away and begins to walk out of the room.
Yeah.
And gonna listen. Going to head towards Lomon's study and listen.
What time of night is it? And are you trying to avoid people? Are you looking for people in particular?
I'm trying to avoid people.
Great. Cool.
I think it's probably close to 1 a.m.
Okay, great. Okay. Oh dang! I was gonna think it was gonna be interesting if this was during dinner, so you could get access to the upper study.
Oh, that's more fun actually. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So there is currently a performance going on the pianoforte downstairs. Dinner has just finished, and if you look down the stairway, you can see your sister, now 15 years old, playing this beautiful, complex concerto. It is passionate. It's I'm imagining what is there's a Chopin fantasy which is amazing. It's something to that effect. Yes, it's fantasy impromptu is what I'm thinking. That if you're familiar,
of course.
Yes.
Yeah, Carson knows fantasy impromptu. It's so good. It's an amazing piece. It's something of that intensity that she's just doing absolutely beautifully, impeccably. Just a little moment of that, and you see, the family sort of gathered around. No one would ever think to be looking up, and so you do have if you want to observe anything or look for anything, you have a moment to see it.
Yeah, I kind of just we're at the top of the stairs. You can see, he kind of just sinks down, holding sort of two of the
the banisters.
The banisters, and just watches the family eating dinner, and Letitia, and kind of smiles a little at how well she's playing. He's heard her practicing. Like he remembers when she first picked up the instrument and just dissonant noises and terrible rhythm, and just smiles a little at how far she's come.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and you see your father is watching. No sense of the rhythm or the musicality necessarily, but just like straight, deep sense of focus on her, watching her. And then you see, his head turn the slightest bit. You see they have some guests in this evening, other noble families, no one you recognize immediately. I'm gonna take this 5 that you rolled on your prowl, and your mother, who is sitting on the couch, sort of watching, looks up and sees you.
I'm gonna lock eyes with her and very lightly shake my head.
You see her hand clutch the arm of the couch a little bit, just sort of seemingly involuntary, and she just looks up at you, and there's no she's where your sort of wavy hair comes from. This very wavy, sort of pulled back, this unruly hair pulled into this orderly shape, and she looks up at you a long moment, but then is drawn away by someone else and smiles a little bit, and then looks back and just gives a very imperceptible nod to you.
Yeah, the corners of his mouth sort of prick up, and he stands, walks over to Varric's office and leaves this envelope sort of on top of the doorknob so that it's pretty visible the next time he goes there. Then says to the girl, "Roll downstairs, so take something light, okay?"
Right. Can I scope out something to steal?
Yeah, let's roll a study or survey.
Okay. Yeah. I'll just survey. 2.
There's in the bathroom, there's a soap holder shaped like a seashell, which appears to be made of solid gold. It's very heavy.
Okay, well, gold is famously very heavy. I'll take the gold, gold, and sort of go to Varric and this worth much as we're exiting back out through his room.
Just 2 coin or something. I don't know.
How about the dolls? Are the dolls worth anything?
He's gonna sort of survey some of them and then like this one was I think my grandfather's. It's an antique. It's about 100 years old. It's made from ivory from.
Okay.
I'm blanking on what kind of creature would have ivory from this. But yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Or actually, it's inlaid with could there be such a thing as Leviathan ivory?
Yeah,
sure.
That would be extremely rare and awesome. Yes, I'm very into Leviathan ivory. There's our season 5 arc right there. Leviathan ivory.
I mean, is it sentimental?
Sentimental to them.
I'll take it and like tuck it under my arm, take the gold thing, put it in my pocket, and then and sort of gesture Varric out through the window.
Right. Yeah. Anything else Varric does? Yeah.
Nope. I'm done.
Right. You head out and you step into the soft grass, and there's this like ding as the final chord is played, and a bunch of applause happens, and you stand there with the golden glow of the windows of your old house shining on you, hearing the applause of these people, and there's a strange sentiment that falls upon you.
I think girl will just put her hand on Varric's shoulder, both as like a comfort and also as like a come on, let's get out of here.
If you have the text, I don't know if you have the text of the letter or anything of the contains of it. You do not have to, but if you wanted to save it for later, we could also hear it at the end, whatever your preference is.
Yeah, I've got the text of the letter, sure.
Yeah, cool. Would you want it now, or do you want it as like part of our ending sentiment for the season?
We can do it as an ending sentiment. For the season.
I kind of want it to be like part of the montage at the end. Cool. Oh, I'm excited. Oh. Okay, moving on. Anything else before we jump? Let's do the sting. Let's knock this out.
No. I was thinking that we do like we've done like some of these setups. Let's maybe see something about the man with many rings.
Oh well, I have a plan.
Okay. Yeah. Let's.
If you don't mind, if you don't mind, I have a.
So I think for this sting, Kristin, anytime that you want to flash back and get information to see if any one of us have maybe because I imagine that the setup for this is that we have a meeting where each of us are talking to you about Lyssa and about what happened with the Foghounds.
Yeah.
You might want to know because getting her to admit to wiping out the Foghounds is, I think, the main thing.
Yes.
Because that will be enough for Wilkes Stanberry to take her in and convict her. So at the same night that we were hitting the Foghounds at the Orca's Tooth, which is when we took control of that vessel, there was a group of the Crows under Lyssa's command who were hitting the Foghounds at their supply location. So I think that's the connecting thing, is that this getting her to admit that the Crows were involved in some way on that night, I think will be enough to work it out. Flashback, and any one of us can fill you in, I say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carson?
Sorry, I just, before we actually do this thing, just because it feels like this thing's a thing, is Hix going away after? I think I wanted to do it to find Hix if I can. I don't know what Hix is doing, but I don't want to interrupt the flow.
Yeah, so I think, Ben, unless you have a preference, we can just assume that Hix is around for possible scenes to the end of the session.
Yeah, sure. Of course.
And then after which, might be heading out to take his break, take his vacation. So, unless if it's a scene you want to do before it, Carson, go the heck ahead.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll find you. I don't know where would he find?
I mean, I think after a couple of days of being alone, I would be like getting back to work and setting things up and making sure that the location, you could probably find me in Silk Shore at the location, which I'm low-key hoping that we turn into like a bar of our own to hang out in later, but that's later.
I'm kind of interested in the idea of this being turf that you obtain by finishing this mini score. So I think this would be like we'll choose if it's a vice den or another thing. So I think let's make this officially something you're gaining from this process.
Great.
So 2 weeks of work has happened with Peter and the Frost. What did I call them? The Frost Hunters, the maimed Leviathan Hunters working for Richard Frost. So you see the place, and it's actually looking kind of great. It's been painted bright yellow. It is this sort of rickety-looking 2-story building right on the edge of a Silk Shore Canal in a lot more central area than the Queen's Magnolia. If there are more details you want it to have, great, your call. But yeah, it's looking quite good. The inside is really nice. There's like a bunch of things that is it a bar? Is it a gambling den? Is it a flower shop? What are we thinking?
Yeah, I think it's a bar. Yeah, great. It's like a place that people go and take an edge off. Yeah, there's two stories. There's maybe a little balcony with some patio seating. It's a nice spot. Nice.
Good for the slightly warm months that Doskvol occasionally gets. Although you find Hix there, maybe working hard, maybe watching other people work hard and sipping a tea.
Yeah, directing things.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. And Aldo will kind of just stride up and drop the coat with the bones on it that you borrowed from Eckerd on the table. You can return this to your friend.
Okay.
Do you see him often?
No.
See him enough to get my coat, bring him in on a job?
I see him as often as I need his services because he did work with us when you were taking a nap.
I don't like it.
You don't like what? What I do? What I'm doing?
I don't like you. I don't like you going to him. I don't like you. I mean, he has his uses, but I mean, bringing him in on a job and now going back to him for this, I don't know. I mean, I don't like it.
Why?
He's... I mean, he... Do I need a reason? I mean, you don't seem to need one.
I mean, I don't... If there's a problem here, I'd like it to be clear. I mean, you don't want me to use this contact of mine, who
He's not your contact. He's my contact. He's connected to me.
Okay, so this is possession. This thing. This is you're possessive over Eckerd, or you're possessive over me. Somehow you want to keep us apart for some reason.
I don't like you. I just think. I think for him. I think for you. It's best that we don't. I'm not possessive over him. I don't care. I don't care about him.
You think it's best for me and for him that we don't interact. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I said.
Because it seems to me like actually what you're saying is that it's best for you if we don't interact. And if that's what you're saying, just be clear about it. Just say it. Just say that you have a problem with it. Just admit it. If you have a problem with it, then be clear. State your boundaries and I will honor them. You are my friend. State your but I need you to be clear. I can't be expected to read your mind, Aldo, and think of and imagine what your boundaries are. I need you to be clear with me because I don't have time to guess what your problems might be. Be clear.
I have a problem with it. And we have a complicated past, which I'm sure you can surmise at this point. And frankly, he's I can't forgive him for saving my life that I never asked him to do. Okay? And
Although,
for him to keep... What?
you need to let this go, my man. And if you can't let this, like, if you have such a problem with living, then you need to put a fucking gun in your mouth and be done. And then I'm going to stand up and walk away and leave the building.
Can I, real quick before you do this, flash forward, late at night, walking in Six Towers, on the street where Melissa lives, and I'll be sort of hesitating at the bottom of the stairs that might lead up to her place before he turns around and goes the opposite direction, and he's gonna attune for a moment with the intention of beckoning, finding and bringing a ghost.
Okay.
If he can.
Yeah. All right.
It'll be a 4.
Okay. So you go out the opposite direction from Melissa's, and you end up on a outstretch of path near the Mist River. You're facing the lightning wall that goes out into the Deathlands that you've explored some of. And there is a frail-looking, strange, wispy ghost out in the water. An old woman. It looks like hands still shaking in semblance of the shaking that must have happened when she was still alive. You reach out to her and sort of amplify, as you can see. Okay.
My hope is that I want to see if I can beckon it, and if I can stop it before it gets too close. Sorry. Let's see.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love it. She sort of turns towards you with eyes that are empty sockets in this like ghostly appearance, and there's no voice, there's no language left in her, but she comes towards you and you just feel this freezing. I mean, you felt it so much out there in the Deathlands. It was just a part of everything, every moment. But now you feel it again, this cold that fills you. And you
feel unbutton his shirt and expose the scar.
This glowing scar. She comes towards you 30 feet, 25 feet, 15 feet.
More.
She starts beating 10.
More.
Slows as she's coming towards you. 5. You can feel the cold off of her. 3 feet.
And I'm gonna try if I can stop her and make her go away. Do I need to make another roll? I don't know. You can decide on the 4.
I think with the 4, I think this is a pretty frail ghost. So basically, your 4 of trying to call the ghost wasn't super successful because it's just this sort of frail one. But she feels this. Maybe whether it's some of the residual power from this strange anathema thing you did, but she is able to, you're sort of like dim yourself in terms of your signs of life, and she just sort of pulls away towards one of the houses above you. peels past you, the ghostly hem of her dress moving away.
And that enough for me to indulge vice?
Yeah, you'll indulge
My
vice
weird
of
vice.
Weird.
Wow. Oh my God.
So that takes
Cool
away
new
4 stress.
vibes, Aldo. Cool new vibes.
Let's see.
Woo!
That was pretty weird.
Yeah, I'm like subtitle of this new device. This will not backfire.
I think he's hoping it will.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So you're able to just like, I don't know how he reacts, but I imagine there's sort of like a bit of thrill from this, just like
It's
rush.
at first that, and then he's just like laughing, just like kind of chuckling the stress away of it for a moment. And just a little bit of like nervous tear as he starts to kind of walk home by way of Eckerd's shed, not stopping, but stops for a minute out of his way to look at it and considers a moment, and then goes on about his business.
Yeah. Love it.
Okay. And that's it.
So,
Not to interrupt the Lyssa thing.
yeah, Graham, you got something?
Well, on your way home, I think Bram will suddenly be striding beside you, looking a little frazzled. Maybe a new shock of white hair on one side of his head from being electrified.
Yeah.
And he just kind of coughs. You can see he's been punched or strangled or had his wrists grappled.
Ooh, yeah.
Ugh.
I need some help. I thought I'd find you here.
Some help with all this?
Yeah. Medical help. I don't know if you could do anything else.
He just like, I don't know if I. Come on. And they'll bring him in, and he's gonna just like look at it a second and sort of scratch his head, take that jar again of the salve and just empty it, whatever's left on top of him, and just like roll it all over just to see what we can come up with.
Yeah, I'm shocked, bruised, and electrified.
Great.
But I do have 3 ticks already in my
So you're
4-part
close.
healing
Yeah.
clock.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I rolled two sixes as well. So,
All right. So that's 5. That's 5 ticks.
Hey,
you
so
fill
that
it
gives
twice.
me fill
You're
it
clean.
twice. Great.
So what is there something particularly Aldo does, and what is Bram's reaction to this sudden, like how does he just recover so quickly, or what does that feel like for him?
I think what Aldo does, just to give you some, is he slathers like all of this on in much greater number, sort of exasperated from today and tonight. I imagine this is the same day, and he sits there for a moment before that like Aldo spark comes to his eyes again, and he's like, shit, hold still. And he like digs out some stuff from underneath. He's got some of the like ghost juice that he definitely swiped, and he mixes it with like lightning oil at the same time, and then he just like does some like okay, and then he just like jabs it a couple times, like micro dosing some of these bruises that he's thinking about, trying to wonder what will happen. Not really sure what will, but hey, it is there's stuff we don't understand. I think a little bit of this I've been testing, and just like squirting this a little bit, some of that.
As you finish your rambling, you realize Bram's already asleep.
Exactly. And then he's like, whatever. Writes down some of his results in a book.
Does Bram asleep in Aldo's bed at his apartment?
I mean, yeah.
No, there's like, and he just like goes out on another walk, whatever.
Nice.
Okay, so that reduces 1 level 1 harm to nothing, and
No,
then
everything that's on the lowest level disappears. So both the level 1s go away and the level 2 goes away because you healed twice.
it goes
the 2
away, or the level 2 goes down to a level 1.
Well, in the process of the 2 level 1s going away, the level 2 becomes a level. So everything moves down a row.
Got
and then everything moves down a row again.
All right.
So you are
Excellent.
You are back to
Clean
normal.
bill of health.
Bram just has this ability to just come back from physical harm.
He's
really-
Daredevil.
Yeah. Yep.
When
exactly.
when
It's
you
amazing.
wake up, though, he'll have Aldo will be there, having made some, paltry breakfast. How'd you sleep?
Poultry or poultry?
Poultry. Poultry. Definitely poultry.
You got some from the chicken stand.
Oh, absolutely. I went out there in the night. I'm a little friends with the guy, maybe.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah,
a Catalani guy, at least.
Yeah. Kelstian, yeah.
Yeah.
No, they all say. And maybe one of them says, looking positive, one says, yeah, this one's on the gray cloaks. And it gives you the chicken.
Thank you so much, and I'll bring it home.
Yeah.
Some of that chicken you love, Bram.
He does love it.
Amazing. If there's moments we want to play there, let's play it, or we'll jump to the sting.
I'd like to just indulge Vice in case I need to push myself.
Do it. Knock it out. Yeah.
But I think I'll sort of combine it with the storytelling and say that Hix has told me to be a little disinterested and play it cool. So I'm gonna find someone that I think does that well.
Yeah.
And then imitate them for my indulge Vice.
Yeah. I'm not sure if there's specific people Hix would recommend. I think one person you could watch would be Pascal, the Silver Knife, who's a lieutenant of the Crows, who's a very just a really cool customer.
Sure.
But there's probably other people who you could imitate.
Yeah, I'll do. Or Hix, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I mean, if you go to Pascal, it wasn't because I recommended it, but
Okay.
if you find Pascal, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Because he's sort of her second in command.
Yes.
So it seems like maybe he's obviously someone that she respects. Maybe you got that intel from someone else in the crew.
Yeah. I mean, I think very disguised, I'll sort of observe Pascal. And if you want to give me just a little bit, Ted.
Yeah, Pascal, you see him just interacting with a few Crows gang members at Ravens at a Ravens bar in Crowsfoot, and they're talking, and there's these people are talking about some real serious stress. They're like, man, the gray cloaks are getting stronger, and we no idea who the hell these guys are or why they're so well trained. They're pushing on our territory. I don't know what we're supposed to do about it. We got in a big fight. This guy, got stabbed in the ribs. And other people are talking about, oh, the Red Sashes worry about them. There's people worried, and Pascal just takes it and says, all right, well, do this and that, and let's put this guy here, and you take you off for 2 weeks. Here's some extra pay. You get somewhere good. Go to night market, find a place to stay for a few nights, and yes, relax, but don't drink too much. All right. Take care of yourself. This is on me. This is not Raven's money. This is mine. So take fucking care of yourself. And he's just very coolly in charge of these folks, making sure that the borders of the territory are well taken care of.
Cool. Well, I'll practice that a little bit. And roll for my Vice.
Yeah. Awesome. Do it. Yeah, I love it.
That's a 3.
Okay, so that gives you 3 reduced stress. That's still pretty good.
Cool. Okay, I'm ready.
Sorry, real
Awesome.
quick, mechanically, when you reduce stress, you use your lowest attribute score.
The
dots?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lowest attributes are the number of dots in your lowest attribute. That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, it's just.
No, good question. Always good to check that one. So, you're in your new bar, this yellow spot in Silkshore, and you walk there, and I don't know how you're dressed exactly, girl, but you feel you've got the confidence. You're pulling it with you, and when you walk in, Tormus lets you in and says, "Good to see you, boss. How are you?" And all the Frost Hunters are there playing the roles of bartenders. Peter's behind the bar, pouring drinks, doing a great job. Everybody's looking pretty good. Where are the rest of the crew? Hix is far away, maybe. But
yeah, I'm elsewhere.
Hix
I'm
is not
tracking
in.
down Pascal for a scene later.
Awesome.
I want to meet him just before he arrives at home for the night.
Love it. Bram, Varric, Aldo.
Convalescing.
Great, cool. You don't have to be present at the thing. It's great.
I don't think
basically
so. No.
Flashback yourself in if you want.
Is no one
Hix
on
is
the
there,
on the
no,
roof,
thank you.
or Hix is on the roof?
No one in the. There is someone on the roof. You see the signal. You see the
Okay,
figure.
okay.
You don't know who they are.
Great.
But yeah, you step in. There's a bunch of people. There's some ravens there. You see an old man with sideburns, who the other crew members might have pointed out to you is Baldwin, one of the old dogs of the gang, one of the old timers before Lyssa was in charge.
So, little piece of info: Baldwin was leading the group that hit the Foghound's supply point. So
Yes.
he would, yeah. So
He
he
could
was
certainly
heading up the
confirm.
other mission that was accompanying us as we hit the Orca students.
Yep.
So he might be an interesting person who can vouch for it, and if
Yeah.
you need that.
There's a bunch of people inside the bar. You know every single one except for the crows and ravens. There are, you see Wilkes and a few others who you imagine are bluecoats. And then there's a couple others. There's a very tall, lanky, red-haired man with tattoos. I don't think you've ever met him, Decker. There are maybe Oyun is there with a couple of her friends from the Queen's Magnolia. It's really full. So when you go and sit down with at a table with a lean woman with a short cut hair, kind of sunken eyes, a beautiful face, but harsh, strong lines. She's sitting there and is eating some food and looks up and greets you warmly. Says, "I assume you're my friend, owner of this place."
And I'll have come with a drink. I'll slide it across the table. That one's on the house. Nice to meet you.
Oh, I'm getting a lot of treatment. They said that this was on the house as well. I'm gonna have to pay for something eventually, I feel like.
Oh,
But
I'm
thank
sure
you.
you'll find ways to pay us back.
I would hope so. So, you will imagine there's a bit of small talk, but in moments as she learns about your past a little bit, you can share anything you want to about your character or anything about that. But eventually it comes to a point where she says, "Listen, I like making new friends, but I also get a sense that when people call me up, they usually have a reason, something they want. What do you want?"
Is that exhausting for you?
Not at all.
Well, I'm glad. Look, I understand that it's good to have friends in these parts. I hope we can be friends.
I'd certainly like to be. It can be a dangerous district, and these red sashes, they're quite common here. They've got a lot of power. They've taken things and kind of shaped the district in their image, which I think is a little bit disrespectful to the old place. But that's just my opinion.
Look, I didn't grow up with the red sashes, not in this part of town. I grew up with you lot. And I definitely would prefer to have you lot as friends.
Well, I don't see any reason to skirt around it. I'd be happy to do some work for you.
I'll gesture to Peter to bring over 2 more drinks.
Right, he does. She finishes her first and takes it away, nods at Peter. He has a little bit of a shaky moment when he looks at you and is a little bit like, and then like disappears off. Maybe like Orisha comes and grabs him and pulls him away. But yeah, she continues to drink. So what do you need specifically from me? What else to seal this deal?
Well, look, I think you understand that you all work a bit in the shadows, Could I get some assurance that you're valuable friends to me? And I'm sure I could be a valuable friend to you. But perhaps evidence of your expertise.
Yeah, roll a consort.
Yeah.
You can push it. You can.
I
you can
will-
say, yeah. Go ahead. If there's a devil's bargain anyone can think of,
Ooh.
mine is that Lyssa gets a crush on you.
That's not a devil's bargain.
Oh yeah, is it not? She's a
No, I'll take that devil's
Dangerous.
bargain. Yeah.
All right, great.
Oh
I mean,
my
we
God.
are wanted criminals. I'd love to be a wanted criminal.
Yes, indeed. Wanted in all the senses.
Devil's bargain means I just get one
Additional
more dice.
die. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll just do that. Can I push myself and take a devil's bargain or no?
You can, I believe. You can't push yourself and aid in the same action. I thought. No, am I wrong?
No, I think it's push and devil's bargain are mutually
exclusive.
Okay,
exclusive.
but then I'll just
Cool.
do the devil's
Let's
bargain.
split
That's
that,
great.
yeah.
5.
Okay. What kind of information are you looking for specifically? What do you want proof about?
All right. Can I flash back to my training sessions with like Hix and the gang? What exactly, like, what do you think would needle her to talk about the Foghounds?
Well, I think that something that we would have told you is that Lyssa is really pretty full of herself. And you'd probably pick up from like the name change, because they were the Crows in coming out of Crow's Foot, but she wanted to like rebrand and make it like Lyssa's gang. So you may be able to bait her into boasting about some of the things that they've done. You may be able to talk to her about like put her in her place a little bit by talking about what you learned with Pascal, that the gray cloaks and the red sashes are giving them a little bit of trouble. So maybe it would be nice to know if there are any minor gangs that they've dealt with, perhaps assets that they've seized, or you might even be able to ask her to talk about how the Crows became the Ravens, because the reason that they made that change is because their rival, the Lamp Blacks, this is so convoluted, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Their rival, the
Following.
Lamp Blacks, were being supplied by the Foghounds, and because the Foghounds were wiped out, the then Crows were able to overcome the Lamp Blacks, which led to their rebranding as the Ravens. So
yeah, I'll
have fun. Sorry.
I'll take that angle. Okay, so I'll take a stiff drink.
There you go.
LaCroix. I mean, I've heard impressive things about you recently. Yeah, a raven is a smarter bird than a crow. I think we all know. I was a little curious. You know, one hears rumors, but I would love to hear it from the bird's own mouth. That's dumb.
Make sure you get like early bird
She's
gets
into
the
it.
worm.
She's
get
into
the-
it.
Early bird gets the
Right. I
She's
love
there
it.
for it, you know. She's the type of
bird's
person
own
for whom
beak.
any attempt at wordplay seems like extreme cleverness. So that's great. She's had a couple of more drinks and is clearly like she's starting to look at you in a slightly different way. She starts spilling a little bit. She starts talking about, well, you know, when the crows were passed down to me from Rorick, and this is a little bit of a hazy way to say it, given that the rumors are that she killed Rorick. She says, you know, and she sort of meanders into this whole conversation, but by the end of it, starts talking about how, starts saying it was the Ravens who took care of that little group, the Foghounds, even the Ravens who took the Orca's Bane. I mean, there was garbage after we were done with it, so we just threw it in the river. But it was all ours.
The Foghounds. I mean, you understand there's a lot of these small gangs running around. I'm worried about my business here, and what exactly did you do?
Oh, we we sent people out. We had an attack on their supply lines. And she starts to like confess to thing after thing after thing, sort of every possible thing that the crew's involved with. She said, we hired a few contractors in it, but really it was all us. It was everything that we did. And
hold on, just curious.
Yeah,
She's also
yes.
taking credit for stuff that we did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
She
yeah.
said
Yeah.
yes,
That's the
several-
Lock her up.
Yeah.
I knew she was
That's the idea.
worst.
Give
That's
her an
perfect.
rope
It's what
to
we
That's
hang
what makes her
herself.
bad.
Yeah, I know that,
Is
but
what?
she did it. She took the bait. She's so
Yes.
dumb.
For the rope to hang
God,
herself.
dumb.
So as this is
You are really
happening,
dumb.
you start.
Some
as
people
this
will
is
do
happening-
anything for a pun. Okay.
Sorry,
Yes.
sorry.
You start hearing some like applause from the group, and it's like it just seems like there's this rowdy moment, but then like after the rowdy moment supplies, the applause continues, and then there's this man who's been eating his pheasant the whole time,
Oh.
who says, "Oh, very good. Oh, fabulous. Quite impressive. Oh, I'd hire you in an instant if this was my situation." Andre Moreland stands up from the midst of the group. He takes off a cloak and reveals his blue coat uniform. Sort of pulls it over. Wilkes Danbury next to him, and Andre says, "Lyssa Coldwater, first of all, such a pleasure to meet you. Second, you're under arrest. You've just confessed to numerous crimes against Doskvol and the Sapphire Crown, and by the authority of King and Assembly, I exercise my authority on that." As he does so, Lyssa has already leapt to her feet, hissing. Knives dance in her hands. There's a cacophony of movement, chairs squeaking against wood floors, weapons coming forth from beneath cloaks, shouts rising from the throats of the present ravens. But all of it is silenced as a gunshot rings out and a body tumbles to the ground. A raven, a man in his 20s, is lying bleeding on the floor, and Wilkes Danbury is holding a smoking pistol. Moreland sort of chuckles a bit and says, "Listen, we're here to arrest your friend Lyssa here and anyone else who makes a move against my men, but that's it. We won't arrest this one. Appears to be dead." The few present ravens, there are only a few more, look around. Lyssa eyes them all with furious, what are you doing? And she says, "We can take them." But Baldwin looks around at the other ravens and drops his sword on the ground.
Says a bird in hand is worth two in the bush. Sorry. So sorry.
Hey.
I'm sorry.
I will neither confirm nor deny if Baldwin says that. So this is the cocky blue coat lieutenant from our first moment. So he is the one who gets to put the cuffs on Lyssa, and he says, I think I might be eligible for a bonus of this. I'll see if I can send you something in Iron Hook prison. I know that it's quite difficult there unless you've got some way to, And she's just like, shut the fuck up. But Wilkes goes with her, and Wilkes very dramatically and openly, apologizes. He says to Kristin, he says, to Girl, he says, "Madam, we're very sorry to have interrupted your business, but carry on. We'll hopefully you'll have less criminals here in the future."
I'll stop him right before he leaves and like quietly, so not everyone can hear, but gesture to the dead guy on the ground. Was that really necessary?
We can get rid of him if you want.
Least you could do.
He holsters his weapon and orders a couple of the bluecoats to get the body out. As you step out onto the street, as Lyssa's getting taken away and put into a carriage where she struggles a little bit more, you look up on the rooftop and see Eckerd with an enormous rifle standing on the rooftop. He nods at you and disappears into the night.
See, Aldo.
Very useful. Not a problem.
Get your drama out of here.
So this is also big news. Lyssa has been dethroned, and somewhere else in Doskvol, let's maybe say in in like not in the district of night market, but in an evening market in Crow's Foot. You might see like there's some salesmen doing sort of late night dealings, either some alcohol or maybe serving some late night food, and there is a man in black with 2 silver knives at his belt sitting on a barrel eating some street food. And Hix, do you show up near there?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
At some distance, let's say we are about 12 feet away in an alleyway or coming down the street at some distance, doesn't appear to see you. And then someone steps out in front of you, a young man, little beard. And he's got a hand on his belt, and says, "Pardon me, you going somewhere?" And before you can respond, Pascal says, "No, it's all right. Leave him. He's good. You didn't see my signal. Wait for the signal." And he saying to this young crow, who then steps aside to let Hix in. You approach.
Yeah, hello Pascal. Long time. You've been avoiding me. Hix said that they were going to get sober. Hix is not. So
Okay.
Oh no.
Pascal looks at him and says, "Avoiding you." He hands you a little street taco, or offers you one.
I'm not going to take it.
Okay. You'll
Yes, avoiding me. Avoiding me ever since the crows became the ravens, ever since the foghound's job. All of a sudden, this meant nothing to you. And don't pretend like you don't know. Because I do know that what you've been doing is following Lyssa's direction, that she didn't want people talking to us. And you obeyed that, right?
I mean, framing it that way is obviously different with my perspective, but honestly, that doesn't matter because that's what you perceive, and I understand that.
Yeah, that's what I perceived. See, I thought that we had developed a relationship. I thought that we were even friends. But then I stopped seeing you around. And I know that you're avoiding me. I'm not stupid.
No,
I know.
I know you're not stupid. That's definitely not been in question. I mean, you're not looking for defense from me. You're looking for an apology, I assume. But I will say, I'm trying to run I'm trying to keep something alive here that matters to me in a great way. And yes, Lyssa is a part of it. And, it doesn't matter what the complexity of my feelings are about that, but I made a promise to Rorik 10 years ago that I wouldn't let Crow's Foot go to shit. I have been living for that promise ever since. I don't fucking care about gang wars. I don't care about getting rich. I care about the fucking man who runs this stall. And you're right, I've been avoiding you. And yes, it's not just been me being busy. I didn't know what kind of conversation we were going to have, or to what the thing is, Hix, you're constantly trying to get people to be completely open about everything they feel with you, and I'm not in a position where I can do that.
You always do what you're told?
No, I don't think so.
Listen, man. There's something going down tonight that's really going to fuck your world up, and you're going to go home wherever you go from here, and you're going to get some news that things are changing in your world. And what I'm doing is I'm giving you the crows back. So I hope that you do something with that. We could have been friends. We were working together. We had a pretty good thing going, but then you chose allegiance to her, who was fucking crazy, and decided to do her bidding rather than do what you knew was better. But now you get to do that because it's your gang now.
What's happening? How do you know?
Just read the newspaper in the morning, my man. And in typical Hix fashion, like getting like a parting shot and turning around and walking away, like with dramatic flair as like per usual.
Yeah. Pascal stands as if he's going to say something to you, but never doesn't manage to get anything out. He just has this sort of uncertain look.
Yes. Oh.
Yes.
Whoa! The crows! The audience doesn't really know about that character.
He's the best.
We love Pascal.
But we know about him.
We hate Pascal, love Pascal. I don't freaking know. I like
Aldo
him.
holds a grudge for holding them up for 3 hours in a marketplace. The first
Hix
time.
really cares for Pascal and was really hurt.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Kristin, girl, where are you when the ghost finds you?
I think what time of day?
It's late at night.
Late at night.
What I'm imagining, one of my
Like
imagined
as I'm
scenarios is that
like, what house am I at?
Sure,
for
like
sleeping?
you could also be wandering somewhere. I'd imagined like it's at Daniel and Matilda's house.
Yeah. Probably. I spend a lot of time there.
Okay. So there's like little narrow stairway that leads up to this very small room.
There's new locks on all the doors.
New locks on all the doors. At one point you hear the little dog, who was either what was it? Pig or Bluey, I think was the name.
He's really struggling.
Yeah. But the dog barks several times and then sort of mews this like sort of frightened thing. Is your room unlocked? Does it scratch at the door for you?
Yeah. There's a
Or is
really
it in
good
the
lock
room
on
with
the
you?
outdoor
Okay.
lock, but no, the dog is not in with me. I'm not affectionate
Okay.
to the dog, but the door
Right.
can be ajar.
Great. Yeah. So the dog sort of mews a little bit and like presses against the door, but then freezes as you see a whitish glow in the hall. And as you watch, a whitish blue pair of spectral feet come across the floor. And instead of opening the door, a figure walks through the door. There is a man in a very old-fashioned suit who is a ghost, who walks in and sits on a chair across from you.
I sort of sit up in bed. Girl is kind of remarkably calm, but she is also like full of nervous energy, like she's ready to spring.
Yeah.
And she'll touch the back of her neck where there's the incomplete circle.
And you feel a little like energy coming off of it. It's very, very cold to the touch. The ghost says, "You've been listening for my call."
Who are you?
Wasn't sure if you would know. My name is Lyron.
Laren.
Lyron. It's an old-fashioned name.
I'm not familiar with
he
it.
spells it in the air. Lyren. Yeah, and like little ghost wisps follow it. You and your friends. You've been listening to my messages.
Are you the one? There's a willow tree. There's a gate. Are you the one?
It is where I reside. It is difficult to come this far. and so I cannot stay long.
Well, then you better tell me why you're here. And she'll sit up forward on the bed.
I spoke to you because it gives me great pain to see children suffer. I have been dead a long time. Years that I cannot fully count. I've seen a great deal of horrors in the city. I have been trying to reach out to those who will listen to me. It will help me accomplish my goal.
And your goal? What's your goal?
I have told you my goal. It brings me great pain to see children suffer. You were one of those children once. And that is why I gave you that mark. He pulls back his hand. I cannot tell you much more, but I'm leaving you what little I can where you must go next. When you need my help, you can come search for me.
By the willow tree, you mean?
Yes. You seem... What are you thinking?
I don't know. I didn't ask for this. Aldo and Bram, they're the ones who asked for this. Why me?
They will know. And you, as you hear his voice say that, you hear an echo of it. And Bram and Aldo, you both dream this moment. You see the girl on a bed talking to a ghost, and just the words, "They will know it." And that's all your dream gives you of that.
What's next?
I am sorry if this is a disappointment. I am not father to you, not kin. I am no echo of a loving past. I saw that you were going to drown in that river. I thought it was unfair. And thus I reached out my hand and stopped you from falling.
What river? Where did I come from? You know. Please, tell me.
As he's been talking, he's been wisping, sort of fading. I do not know the answers to all things. I know that you can help. And he starts to fade. And then until his form starts to dissipate. You have the time to say something to him if you want.
I'll lurch forward as he's disappearing and try and like grasp him. She knows she can't, but it's sort of like the impulse of like, yes. No, my parents or who I am or a name. Give me a name.
And the hand closes on just freezing. I mean, your hands are like almost immediately frostbitten from the cold that you feel touching the wisp of his face. And he fades.
Name?
There's no echo from the dark room.
I should have had a name. And she'll go and she'll sit at the scrubbed wood table and just take out the banner that she's pulled from the library earlier in the session, and just sit with it.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to jump to the day when you are on the day that the first chill of autumn reaches Doskvol. You receive an invitation on thick, beautiful paper marked with the symbol of 2 antlers. There is a well-appointed establishment in Night Market where people gamble on dog races, they gamble at tables, they listen to the crooning songs of balladeers. It is a high-class establishment. You have not been here before. It is called the Heron's Roost. It is a blue building, quite beautifully, ornate and gorgeous and very modern in the Night Market style. The place is abuzz with people. There are men in suits who stand as guards that they don't even appear to be armed, which most guards do at other locations. You also see several red sashes in Alkebuani suits, and Ekon is among them. He smiles and approaches Hix, arms outstretched as if for an embrace. Is there any response from Hix?
I'll embrace Ekon, not warmly.
Great. Yeah, he takes the embrace, kisses you twice on the cheek. He says, "It is rare to meet in such a glamorous setting. I could only match your sense of style."
Yeah.
Perhaps we shall meet at the tables.
Perhaps so. Good to see you, Ekon.
A pleasure. He leaves you be. You are then escorted to an upper room, luxuriously appointed. There are bright, colorful paintings all over these walls. They're jagged, impressionist portraits of beautiful men and women with bestial parts like antlers, one of them, and different animal parts. They festoon the walls. There, the white stag waits for you, along with 3 other masked individuals. The first is a stocky, unassuming man in a fox mask. There's a woman with a green mohawk and an elegant evening gown with a crustacean mask. And there's an older man in an immaculate suit who's very boring compared to the others in the group. The stag sits you down.
Do we recognize any of these people as having put us through our paces at the party?
Yeah, let's say so. Let's say that the woman with the green mohawk had played the sort of like ditzy, flirtatious woman who you kissed several times at the party. Also
several times, right?
Kissed you several times. The older man looks very dapper and solid now, but he appears to have played the aristocrat who spoke with Bram. You don't recognize the other man; it's very sort of nondescript. But yeah, the white stag sits you down and says, "We wish to convey our gratitude to you." She's wearing a white and gold dress now, not the red from Fellmore Manor. This one is a high, constricting neck, very much more modest, but very tight. Her mask, once decorated with false snow, is now dusted with gold. She says, "You have done precisely as we hoped. Ruther's Engine has been publicly humiliated, and yes, he'll get away without punishment, but his plans have been foiled for now, and we are more than pleased with your performance." You now get the sense of not only this individual, but of this large group. I mean, if they're the owners of this establishment, this is a very wealthy group indeed. And so she says, "Here is your payment," and it's given to you in several ornate boxes laid out on the tables and sort of opened up in the very like fancy drug deal sort of way. Yeah, any responses from any of you two?
Take the lead, Varric.
Thanks. How much was the payment again?
8 coin. So there's another 4 that you were paid at the outset. So it's 12 total, which is an unbelievable sum.
And we still don't know what institution she's part of or organization.
Nope. Yeah, you could certainly ask.
Honestly, half of the pleasure was in giving Ruther's Engine a bit of a bloody nose. But we appreciate the payment as well.
Certainly. And we were quite pleased with your performance. It was really quite remarkable, everything that you were able to accomplish. We would certainly be willing to work again together in the future.
That sounds like a good arrangement. Although, forgive me, I find it difficult working with people who we don't know. We don't even have a name for you.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, the masks are a bit of added drama just for, a bit of poetry. But we call ourselves the Collective. We're just a group of enterprising individuals trying to make the city a better place.
Concerned citizens, I imagine.
There's certainly a great deal of selfishness in it. We want it to be prosperous enough that our businesses can thrive. Without too much taxation from the ministry, you understand.
Is tantamount to theft.
Exactly. We are clearly on the same page.
Yes. Rather engage in actual theft occasionally.
Well, I wouldn't know anything about that. Do you have any questions for her or for them? Any more?
Do you anticipate continuing to hound Master and Jim?
Well, we imagine we have our estimates from different members of the group. She looks over at the sort of aristocrat man who looks soberly at her. The estimates are that it will take him at least a year, if not 2 or 3, to recover. We have other business in the meantime. Making new friends. You may have met some downstairs. The red sashes.
What's your interest with the red sashes? What are they doing for you?
Well, Silk Shore is a thriving business area, and yes, they do good work in the sphere that they do it in, but we came to an agreement about being able to oversee some more of our own businesses there. Places like Prime Time, one of our favorite clubs.
What interest do you have in primetime?
Well, only the interest that an owner can have.
Wait, you bought it?
And I've owned it for some time.
Wait, that's your joint?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Prime's great.
You are too kind.
Are you ever there?
I try to go occasionally. I try to be there at least once a month, so I'll have to tell you the next time I'm going to go. It'd be wonderful to see you.
I would love that.
Perfect. Well, we would hate to keep you. There is, of course, a free meal waiting you downstairs. Music. There's a wonderful show this evening. One of the great musicians. We would hate to keep you longer. We can also have this. Obviously, we wanted the show of being able to show you all the money, but we can send it to wherever you'd like it to go. You don't have to carry it out with you.
Appreciate a good show. Yeah, send it here.
Perfect. Wonderful. And she lets you go off on your way. As you are leaving the salon, Aldo, Bram, you see the shoes of the man who has been escorting you the whole way. They're extremely polished. And you remember the unassuming man in the fox mask and the rings that he wore on his left hand.
Oh.
And that is the end of season 1.
You bastard!
Damn it! Come on.
Wow, savage.
Oh shoot! I had another thing. That's okay.
Oh no! We can totally flip it back if you need to flip another thing. I've ruined it.
I mean, it isn't like late.
It is
like
late.
almost an hour
not-
over.
Yeah,
If we have a scene we need to do, we can do the
I'm
scene.
interested to know what the other thing was.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It was very quick, and I.
Well,
I
we also
didn't,
need
I didn't
the
realize
letter
we
from
hit.
Derek.
I didn't realize we hit last
I'm sorry.
call already. So.
I should have announced last call. I was just like, we're late.
Yeah, I know,
but yeah.
but I'm sorry.
No. You're good. Hit me with what it was, Carson, and then we'll get the letter from Varric. These are the
Okay.
post-credit scenes.
It's late, and there's a little bit of drinking, and there's like a loud thumping on Eckerd's door.
And Eckerd comes to the door, and he's looks like he was actually sleeping this time. And he's also got a little bit of like makeup on his face, like darkening that might have like on his eyes, particularly that might have been like to keep any like glare out of his eyes when he was doing the sniping on Lyssa.
He pushes his way in. forcibly shoving him.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Do you need something?
Yes. Listen. Hix, for some reason, thinks that you're valuable to him in some way. And I want you to know, I don't fucking care, okay? You can want to be a part of this crew. You want to join, you want to... I don't care. I don't care what you do, but you hear me. And I will make this very clear. You never mention Ellis. I love your brother. I never love you. Now is that fucking clear? And it's
Is that supposed to be new information for me, Aldo? Is that supposed to be a surprise?
it's not supposed to be a surprise. It's supposed to be...
I understand. Yeah, I understand.
I don't care who you want to take his jobs, you want to be here. I don't care. But just don't forget that.
I just hope it's clear to you that you're not the only one who wishes it was my brother who lived instead of me. All right? There's no misunderstanding. There's no whatever.
There never was. And he's just gonna turn and walk out.
Eckerd will just slam the door. And we'll just get, with the privilege of him having had a session this episode, we get the camera stays on Eckerd just for a little bit to see him sit down on the bed and just sob into his hands.
Oh man, I don't know why Hix is getting in the middle of everyone's like personal stuff. I thought he wanted to work with us.
Elsewhere, we get.
You can. That's fine. You just invite him.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's
I'm
fine.
just
Not a big deal.
I'm
Doesn't
just saying,
matter.
fine. You know what? I don't care.
Be clear.
Let me get on clear.
We then go to Theric Lomond, who is in his study. He walks into his study holding a letter in his hands. Opens it up and sits at his desk. But first, he takes it, holds it in his hand, stands there for a long moment looking at it. Turns the back on it. He looks at it under a lamp, as if like analyzing, like if there's something like like some powder on it or something. Takes a letter opener, slices it open, and begins to read.
Yeah, it's on very fine paper in a crimson ink, and it says, "To Lord Lomond. I saw on the paper that the ministry failed to separate from the crown. Did you appreciate the opportunity to vote down Enjim's bid for independence? Was it satisfying seeing him bloodied and humiliated? His workers revolting? Do you have any idea what your son is capable of? That was me. I exposed Enjim. I destroyed his depot. I got Robert Boom elected to act as the tie-breaking vote. I love who I love, and I will do as I will, and your opinion means less than nothing to me anymore. I did more in a year away from you than in 20 years as your son, and I will bury you. I will wipe your name from the record so you are nothing but a footnote in the history books of Akaros. Love, Varric."
So good. Oh my god.
We don't see Theric's reaction. We just see, through a window, there's a receding shot of him closing the letter and his head looking upwards towards the ceiling of his house, and then the contraband. Oh my gosh, guys, what a good time. Oh my gosh, audience, thank you for being here. Oh, wow. Gosh, that was such an enjoyable time. Thank you for being here. As we went over, we're going to let you go. We're going to get out of here. So a couple of things to announce just in general. Thank you so much for supporting Ghostlight RPGs. This is a wonderful channel that we are so pleased to have been a part of for the Contraband. And, we'll be keeping you updated as to the future of the Contraband. We'll eventually be uploading, hopefully soon, all the episodes that we've done as podcasts. We've just been working on that slowly. And everyone, I don't know if you all noticed, but the world's been resurrected, so we're all like trying to manage that. But we're just so excited for the future of Ghostlight. Please continue watching Zoa on Sunday mornings. It's a wonderful, delightful show run by Justin and including just a cast of ridiculously good people. And also keep an eye out. You know, we sort of have a little bit of a mystery for what exactly is coming next for Ghostlight, but we're so excited. And I mean, this is a little bit more broad and a little bit more Ted rather than official Ghostlight thing. But, you know, if there are things that you're interested in seeing on Ghostlight, you know, we would love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'd love to have that. So just thank you so much. It's so exciting to play games and have you here with us. It is really meaningful, and we're so grateful to have been able to share the experience of the Contraband with you. It's honestly moving. It's wonderful. So thank you so much. And thank you to Emma and Justin and Graham and Kelsey and everyone at Ghostlight for making the Contraband possible as well. You know, even those behind the scenes, it's a big deal, and we are so grateful for the chance. Is there anything else that we need to announce, Graham, or anything else you're thinking?
Nope. You said it all. Thank you.
Perfect. We're gonna leave you to your evening. So have a wonderful night, and feel free to be in touch. We look forward to talking to all of you soon. So, good night. Mm-hmm.